dark man was being oppressed, he was being oppressed by the white man. Where the dark man was being exploited, he was being exploited by the white man. So they got together under this basis, that they had a common enemy. And when you and I here in Detroit and in Michigan and in America, who have been awakened today, look around us, we too realize here in America, we all have a common enemy. Whether he's in Georgia or Michigan, whether he's in California or New York, he's the same man. Blue eyes and blonde hair and pale skin. Same man. Don't let the enemy know that you got a disagreement. Instead of us airing our differences in public, we have to realize we're all the same family. And when you have a family squabble, you don't get out on the sidewalk. If you do, everybody calls you uncouth, unrefined, uncivilized, savage. If you don't make it at home, you settle it at home. You get in the closet, argue it out behind closed doors. And then when you come out on the street, you pose a common front, a united front. And this is what we need to do in the community and in the city and in the state. We need to stop airing our differences in front of the white man. Put the white man out of our meeting, number one, and then sit down and talk shop with each other. That's all you got to do. These Negroes aren't asking for no nation. They're trying to crawl back on the plantation. Revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile. Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. And you sitting around here like a knot on the wall saying, I'm going to love these folks no matter how much they hate me. No, you need a revolution.
In the last 500 years, black people in this area of the world, we can say that there's no such thing as black culture. What there is what the system of racism, white supremacy programs black people to do. You see, in other words, if the system of racism, white supremacy says, you are not going to be scientists. You are not going to be highly functioning doctors and lawyers and teachers. You are not going to have stable family life. You are not going to respect sex. Now your role is to entertain me. So you can jump up and down and sing. You can dance, and yes, you're good at sports. You can do that in some venues. That's what I'm going to allow you to do. I'm not going to allow you to have stable communities, because if you have a Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm going to burn that down. If you think you're going to stabilize a so-called middle-class community and you're going to have a home that's mortgaged, I'm going to see that those mortgages are foreclosed so that you can be into family dissolution, place of living dissolved. So what we can say is that we have an imposed culture under the power dynamics of racism, white supremacy. See, I can see right now in my mind the picture of Beyonce with her legs wide open at the Super Bowl for last year. It was so appalling to me, I can't get it out of my mind in terms of what has been done to us. You understand what I'm saying? So we would be wiser. No, we are trying to get ourselves to the point where we can establish what we would then call black culture. But we will no longer be victims of a system of racism, white supremacy. So once the system of racism, white supremacy has been replaced with a system of justice, that's when we will start talking about our culture. That's when we will begin talking about who we really are as black people.
Madame, mesdemoiselles et messieurs, encore une fois, on est très content de vous avoir. Alors, il fallait le savoir, Mutabaruka, justement, avec cette grande dame qui est donc avec nous. Il a eu le temps de recevoir à l'instant le groupe Dvoire. Et puis, il faut savoir que monsieur Denroy Thompson est bel et bien là avec l'une des femmes qui l'accompagne. Et ce soir, c'est un partage. Vous avez eu l'occasion justement de les écouter depuis 19h. C'est juste un moment pour eux de vous faire comprendre qu'en Jamaïque, il y a une chaîne de radio qui fait carton qu'on appelle iRay. Et sur cette chaîne, vous avez M. Mutabaruka qui fait une grosse émission qui est bel et bien écoutée. Alors, à l'heure actuelle, toute cette émission que vous avez eu le temps d'écouter est en direct. En Jamaïque, on nous écoute. On va faire un gros coucou à tous les Jamaïcains qui nous écoutent. Et puis, on va dire Peace and Love, Rasta.
Greetings, Massive. Hey. Wagwan, Jamaica.
United States President Barack Obama says U.S. government policy on ganja will not change in the near future, and that the view that ganja can become an industry to help end poverty in the Caribbean may be a fallacy. He says it is no silver bullet. The U.S. President was responding to a question from one of the young leaders at his town hall meeting this afternoon at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Sasha Gay Laban reports.
Mr. Obama stressed that the U.S. was reforming its justice system, also in recognition of the fact that it was counterproductive to criminalize many youth and lock them up for nonviolent drug offenses. He said that had helped to devastate many communities. The U.S. President also acknowledged that two states, Washington and Colorado, had made moves towards decriminalization and legalization of marijuana, but he said these were experiments that would be assessed. However, he said the U.S. federal policy would not change anytime soon, and he did not see Congress changing the law nationally. The U.S. President took the question posed directly by Miguel Williams, also called Steppn.
Has to do and surrounds U.S. policy as it regards the legalization, decriminalization of marijuana.
How did I anticipate this?
Yeah, man. And it's yeah, man.
How did I guess this question?
Yes, and Mr. President, it really comes on the foreground of we face economic challenges with the IMF, etc. And we find realistically that the hemp industry, the marijuana industry, provides a highly feasible alternative to rise up out of poverty. So I am wanting to understand and to understand how US is visioning, how would you see Jamaica pushing forward on a decriminalization, legalization emphasis on the hemp industry?
Miguel Steppn Williams.
Armies without fighting is the best of skills. The art of war. Dangerous.
Forward.
I'm like a step in the breeze. I don't watch my size. I'm dangerous. Dangerous. I'm like a step in the breeze. I don't watch my size. I'm dangerous. Steppn razor, Mutabaruka, Dvoire. Listen Jamaica. Remember listening to Mutabaruka, Steppn razor, and the start of war. Sing it, representing from our family. The blood of African kings run up in our veins. Here in Jamaica, rebellious offspring. Muta got a warrior spirit inside. From that time, we can't him. And it's a warrior spirit inside. It comes from break every shackle and chain. On the shaka Zulu, in Cuba. Steppn razor, and the art of war, every Thursday. And look how many years them whip with. That's what the whip for one microchip with. We tell them Babylon style of fit with. War it out until we get with victory. Hey, the fight my brother and sister. When we are dancing, so we move sinister. I know we're listening. Mutabaruka, count the culture, chase the vultures away. I'm not Shaka Zulu.
When a youth fails, it's always put down to personal problems. But one cannot ignore the social system and the effect it can have on an individual. It's all about the youth. It's all about the youth. The youth them of today. Their role in this society, the part they're gonna play. It's all about the youths. The youth them of today, the future for tomorrow, they have to lead the way. Too much unemployment, too much violence and the crime. Too much our youths are in a prison doing time. Not enough in the colleges and universities. I'm an individual. It's all about the youths. It's all about the youths. The youth them of today. Their role in this society, the part they're gonna play. It's all about the youths, the youth them of today, the future for tomorrow. They have to lead the way. Too much unemployment, too much violence and the crime. Too much our youths are in a prison doing time. Not enough in the colleges and universities. Not enough for them to do. Not enough activities. Our youth have so much energy, so much vitality. If it's channeled in the right direction, how great they could be. But they face a lot of problems in this society. And it's supposed to be a land of equal opportunity. It's just the other day, them get to realize racism in society is institutionalized. It took the murder of a black youth to open up their eyes. Equal opportunities, is it a pack of lies?
Good day. This is the Steppn razor, the art of war. We're there with you. 10 minutes into the program without doing the program, but we're still there. Why you love Delroy again? There with me. This is the Steppn razor, the art of war. We're coming live from Cote d'Ivoire into IRFM. Radio station name Zion FM. Transmitting to IRFM, transmitting to the whole world. So, we start the program like this.
Yes, I know, listen, I got to hack it. I mean, them should be asking yes, I listen, I sing is the verse. Such a wicked would never drop no curse. You got to be real. So make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me hype if you want. Don't put no pump on your name without them a play. When I live is the only Brooklyn. I make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me hype if you want. Don't put no pump on your name. could I would them a play game. When I is the only proclaim, them won't see me mash up and done, crash park and sit down. I'm a little money done, when me a save for my son, I'm in no one pick up a deal. So me now pick up no gun, I'm in no one the punk crime stop. Me a live out on the road, Red Roma send me wanna give me bone, but I no listen talking, yes I no listen none. I said it now, I last night was a very good night. Yes, me and me Empress hold tight. Some make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me hype if you want. No bet, no pump, no name. Could I hold them a play again? When I is the only proclaim, I make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me hype if you want. No bet, no pump, no name. Could I hold them a play again? When I is the only proclaim, I them a watch me wrist and watch me ears. But tell them say Selassie give my first dress. I proudly yet I get another finest. I customize and tailor to his likeness. You never see the king without his empress. I from kings of kings in this Ababa, yes. Do not get me vexed. I when them come in with them plastic smile, them want to pick a dollar from your Kyle. So make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me I if you want. No pet nor pamper, no name. Could I hold them a play? When I is the only proclaim, I make them talk if they want. I know answer, say me I if you want. No pet nor pamper, no name. Could I hold them a play? Yes, I is the only proclaim. Fly out one tour and I love I say me switch. I want this. What if them did real? Say them would not jump ship. Me know me friend them. If you did real from the beginning, me say you would never change.
Yeah, we want to tell the people them in Ivory Coast, Africa. This is a fairly young artist out of Jamaica named Ibamar, creating waves in Jamaica.
Them talk if they want. I know answer, say me hype if you want. Now pet nor pump and no name. Put out with them a play. When I is the only proclaim, them won't see me mash up and done. Crash park and sit down. I'm a little money done. When me a save for my son, I'm in no one to go a jail. So me now pick up no gun, I'm in no one the punk crime stop. Me a live out on the road. Red Roma say me wanna give me bone, but I no listen talking. Yes, I no listen none. I said it now. I last night was a very good night. Yes, me and me Empress hold tight. So make them talk if them want.
You know, say we have to go to a break, you know, believe you me, we have to go to a break. So we're going to take the break and come forward. Steppn Razor, Art of War.
As the voice of the people, it is incumbent on us as artists to talk of the things them every time. First, I want just the big man that will impregnate young children and then kill them after. We must allow these girls to celebrate their womanhood and celebrate Women's Day. Once you go minor, your sentence should be major. And what really are going with about? Why so many different charges? Them charge you for change a check. Them charge you for get a bank statement. Why loan interest so high? And your saving interest so low? Soon and very soon poor people can't.
Politici mani, politici colombare, mani parati, politici colombare. Sentala, mboro wala, nete politici, nete police. Politici mani, politici colombare, mani sabati, politici colombare. Obi baby, Obi Bassini, Obi Danobi. Obijan Bassini, vive le président, abat le président, vive le général, abat le général.
27 minutes past 7 minutes, I know it's 27 minutes past 2 o'clock in Jamaica. We want you to know that we are broadcasting from a station in Ivory Coast that is 7 months old, and this radio station was set up. This radio station was set up exclusively to promote. We want to give thanks to Cabo, the program director. We want to give thanks to. Well, last night we give thanks so much last night that some of the things them. Sometimes if we don't, it's better we don't give thanks. You know, really. Sometimes better we don't give thanks than give thanks. Okay? If you don't mention a man name, you know, if you look by you, it's gone. Sometimes, you know. For instance, we're not going to mention Delroy Thompson, who is responsible for the technical things inside here. Last night we had Julian Garvey talking about his father, given that we were told that the Prime Minister of Jamaica would mention the expunging of Marcus Garvey from the criminal records, and we are calling on the government of Jamaica to expunge Marcus Garvey from criminal records in Jamaica. You can't dance abroad and not dance a yard. You know, them way you can't go ask a man for something over there, so or you not do something over here. So Marcus Garvey is not, and I repeat, is not a criminal. Marcus Garvey is not a criminal. And as a matter of fact, it is the system, the government in Jamaica that made Garvey the first national hero. And it's ironical that after 90 years, almost 90 years in Jamaica, but 90 years in prison, from the time of him imprisonment, them still see him as criminal. So we, as Rastafari Aboriginal and Pan-Africanists, is calling upon the government of Jamaica to expunge Marcus Garvey records, wipe it clean, like I want to wipe out my own, for ganja charge. And I wasn't guilty. For years, we get ganja charge for not even smoking ganja, as a matter of fact. But we're there with you. As we say, we're waiting on some of the ones them who we have invited here last night. Them couldn't come because, you know, the time difference. When we tell them to the program start 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody say, Musa, you're not serious. You understand? So, but we're glad to know that we got Jalani Naya, who co-hosted the program last night, and Marcus Garvey's son, Julian Garvey, who was here until the program finished early in the morning, at about 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we're done the program. So we continue the journey here until the guests them come, and we hope we can coordinate this program like how we coordinated the program last night. You understand? That's some bitches are going, you know. We don't want no glitches are going in Africa, right? You know, too much things are happening. You understand? You know, someone commented that the government of Jamaica is fixing the road for Obama, and Obama take a helicopter.
REFM.
The star and the line. Politiki mani, politiki kolombare, manye parati, politiki kolombare. Sentala, mboro bola, nete politiki, nete police.
You know, say we have the news and the sports that come up in a Jamaica soon. We have a special guest. We have a special guest in the studio with me, where we know for years. The first time we got to Anguilla, she was a teacher, Rastafari teacher in Anguilla, and she invited me down there to talk, and that was the end of my career in Anguilla and her teaching in Anguilla. So we want to hear up. Talk to the people then. Talk to the people then.
Zion, how beautiful are thy gates, I delight in thy law. Zion 105.3 FM, reaching out to all the brothers and sisters and the family in Jam Down. This is Sister Ijanya, sharing the pride of Abbey Reggae on Zion Radio. Give thanks and praises, Brother Mutabaruka.
Why you're so joyful.
I am.
You're so joyful. So, you know, say this I go right across Africa, and it's also in a Jamaica go right across the whole Caribbean.
Is not the family alone there, yeah, I hear this?
No, it's on the radio station, so you know.
Yes.
So it's a broadcast right over Africa.
Rastafari.
And then IRFM now, I take it and I broadcast it in Africa to about the rest of the world.
Yes, I.
All right. Anguilla to Africa. It's a long journey. We want to know that this sister going to co-host the program with me. Last night we have a man, we think we should have a woman today. And who better to have it but this sister here. She has left Anguilla and reaching Africa now, and she has made Africa our homeland. We have some other guests coming in, and last night it was wonderful. I know you never hear the program. If you did hear part-time, I don't know, but it was so wonderful that I want to keep the same momentum like last night, you know. So we have some little glitches that go on, and we have to try and work out the glitches. Because we will go to the news soon. We are about 4 minutes before the news start. But where in Africa I live now?
I live in Ethiopia. I live on the Shashamane land grant, which is there waiting for the rest of I and I to come.
So you get some land on there?
I have a piece of land on which I intend to put a house. It is not problem-free, but it is not problematic either.
It's not problematic. All right. And how long now you leave? How long you resign?
I've been 4 years in Ethiopia.
4 years?
Yes. 4 wonderful years with one regret.
So you never did it from 10 years ago?
No, but that is the regret.
Alright, so let me ask you a question now. The last time I saw you was in
St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
What to that project that the sister them start celebrating Empress Minister?
It's going on as we speak. Maybe it might be over by now, but Nana Faraika was there with them this year.
Okay.
And so it was. Yes.
And
yes.
That is before, that is when you was living in Africa.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. Anyway, I hope IRFM is with us now, because we want to introduce we guests them that just come here. Believe you me. We have on my right.
So like a boxing ring.
At my right and on Cat, the post left. Is the hey, no, trust me, you look strange in Africa, you know.
Really? Because it's my first time.
The first time?
Yes,
the man don't look at you, Muta.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you, know. I'm Mr. Brown, man. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Yes. Good afternoon, Muta. Well, go on, Bridget.
Well, when they are doing work, said we have transmit from Ivory Coast to Jamaica.
Yes.
So when we are there, so now the people them in Jamaica listen to it from IRFM.
Yes,
So it's the same program what we do in Jamaica. We bring it in Africa, you know.
Yeah, man.
Back to Jamaica. You understand?
Yeah, the power of technology, my
Yeah. So
Greetings, massive. Hey. Wagwan, Jamaica. Can everybody please give Aubrey a big round of applause for the great introduction? I want to thank the University of the West Indies for hosting us. Big up, UE. Thank you. Yeah, I've been making myself at home here. It is great to be in beautiful Jamaica. Not only because I'm proud to be the first president of the United States to visit in more than 30 years, but because I just like the vibe here. I was born on an island, and it was warm, and so I feel right at home. And I'm grateful for the warm Jamaican hospitality that I received this morning, including from Prime Minister Simpson Miller. I also had the chance to meet with leaders from across the Caribbean, where we focused on issues of shared prosperity and shared security. And tomorrow I'll meet with leaders from across the hemisphere at the Summit of the Americas in Panama. But before my trip became all business, I wanted to come here and hear from young people like you, because it is your generation who will shape the future of our countries and our region and this planet that we share, long after those of us who are currently in public service are gone from the stage. So I'm going to only speak for a few minutes at the top, because I'd rather spend time taking questions from you, and also because after we have a chance for our town hall, I get a chance to say hi to Usain Bolt and Shelley Ann Fraser-Price. And when you have the fastest people on the planet, you got to say hi to them, right? Because that's fast. There are a lot of people out there, and they're the fastest. Now, we are not just nations, we're also neighbors. Tens of millions of Americans are bound to the Caribbean and the Americas through ties of commerce, but also ties of kin. More than 1 million Americans trace their ancestry to Jamaica. More than 1 million Americans visit Jamaica each year. So we're committed to you and this region. And as I've said before, in our foreign policy, there are no senior or junior partners in the Americas. They're just partners. And that's one reason why the United States has started a new chapter in our relations with the people of Cuba. We will continue to have differences with the Cuban government, but we don't want to be imprisoned by the past. When something doesn't work for 50 years, you don't just keep on doing it, you try something new. And we are as committed as ever to supporting human rights and political freedom in Cuba and around the world. But I believe that engagement is a more powerful force than isolation. And the changes we are making can help improve the lives of the Cuban people. And I also believe that this new beginning will be good for the United States and the entire hemisphere. My point is, I believe we can move past some of the old debates that so often define the region and move forward in a way that benefits your generation with new thinking. An energetic, impatient, dynamic, and diverse generation that you represent, both in the United States and across the hemisphere. More than 100 million people in Latin America and the Caribbean are between the ages of 15 and 24. Most of the region is under 35. And what gives me so much hope about your generation is that you're more interested in the hard work of waging peace than resorting to the quick impulse of conflict. You're more interested in the hard work of building prosperity through entrepreneurship, not cronyism or corruption. You're more eager for progress that comes not by holding down any segment of society, but by holding up the rights of every human being, regardless of what we look like or how we pray or who we love. You care less about the world as it has been and more about the world as it should be and can be. And unlike any other time in our history, the technology at your disposal means that you don't have to wait for the change that you're looking for. You have the freedom to create it in your own powerful and disruptive ways. Many of you already have, whether by starting your own enterprises or by helping others start theirs. And I'm going to just single out two remarkable young leaders who are here today because I think they're an example of what is possible, even in the most difficult of circumstances. So Angeline Jackson is here today. Is Angeline? Where is Angeline? There she is, right there. So several years ago, when Angeline was 19, she and a friend were kidnapped, held at gunpoint, sexually assaulted. And as a woman and as a lesbian, justice and society were not always on her side. But instead of remaining silent, she chose to speak out and started her own organization to advocate for women like her, get them treatment and get them justice and push back against stereotypes and give them some sense of their own power. And she became a global activist. But more than anything, she cares about her Jamaica and making it a place where everybody, no matter their color or their class or their sexual orientation, can live in equality and opportunity. That's the power of one person, what they can do. Jerome Cowens grew up in a tough part of Kingston. Where's Jerome? When Jerome was 12, he saw a friend gunned down. When he looked at the shooters, he said, I realized that wasn't a life I wanted to live. They had expensive machinery, but they had nothing else. So at the ripe old age of 13, he founded a youth group to help others like him stay on the right path. And he started small with only 6 people, but they had one big thing in common, and they believed that change was possible. And like Angeline, he was threatened for his work, but he kept at it. And he said, things won't get any better if no one does anything. And today, the Lead Youth Club he started has 6 chapters, including one in Colombia. His work has taken him to 5 continents. Last year, he became the first Jamaican to receive the Nelson Mandela Innovation Award. He's just 25 years old. So, individuals like those two, the young people here today, you remind me of something that Bob Marley once said. You know, I went to his house yesterday. I thought, I'm only 5 minutes from his house. I got to go check it out. And one of the displays has to do when he was shot. Right before a concert he was supposed to give, trying to bring the political factions in Jamaica together. And he was treated for his wounds, and he went ahead with the program, went ahead with the show. And somebody asked, well, why would you do that? He said, the people who are trying to make this world worse are not taking the day off. Why should I? Why should I? So none of us can afford to take the day off. And I want you to have every chance, every tool you need to make this world better. So, today I'm announcing nearly $70 million in U.S. investments in education, training, and employment programs for our young people throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. And these investments will help young people in unemployed and impoverished and marginalized communities, give them a chance to gain the skills they need to compete and succeed in the 21st century economy. And that's not all. As president, some of the initiatives I'm most proud of are ones that increase my country's engagement with the next generation of leaders like Angeline and Jerome and all of you, leaders in government and civil society and entrepreneurship in the private sector. 4 years ago, I launched an initiative called 100,000 Strong in the Americas, and the goal was to have 100,000 U.S. students studying in this region and 100,000 of this region's students studying in the United States by the end of this decade, and we are on track to meet that goal. So today, to build on that progress, I'm proud to launch the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative right here in Kingston. And let me say this. This is not your traditional exchange. We're going to seek out the most innovative young entrepreneurs and civil society leaders in the Caribbean, Latin America, and we're going to give them a chance to earn a substantial continuum of the training and the resources and the connections, the networks, and the capital that you need to make a difference. So this year we'll bring 24 entrepreneurs and civil society leaders from Latin America and the Caribbean, including young Cuban leaders, to the United States. Then next year we'll increase this fellowship to 250 young leaders, and we'll help you to expand your commercial and social ventures. We'll embed you in an American business and incubators. We'll give U.S. participants the chance to continue their collaboration with you in your home countries. So the idea is that you'll get a chance to implement your ideas, but now have linkages that give you access to capital and research and all the things you need to mobilize and implement the kinds of things that you're doing. And this isn't charity for us. This is an investment in your future, because that means it's an investment in our future. A future where climate researchers in the Amazon can collaborate with scientists in Alaska. An idea in Barbados suddenly can be developed in an incubator in Boston. Anti-gang activities in Honduras can be connected to similar activities in Houston, Texas. It's a future where any kid from Kingston can choose a path that opens his or her horizons beyond their neighborhood to the wider world. And that impulse to make the world better, to push back on those who try to make it worse, that's something that your generation has to hold on to. And you have to remember, it's never easy. There are no days off. But if there's one thing that I know from my own life, it's that with hard work and hope, change is always within our reach. Now, the Jamaican-American poet Claude McKay, who was a central figure of the Harlem Renaissance, once wrote something along those lines. We must strive on to gain the height, although it may not be in sight. As long as we've got young strivers like you. And I hope to see you in Washington as part of this Young Leaders of the Americas initiative. I'm confident that brighter future will always be in sight. But thank you very much. With that, let's take some questions. All right? So, testing. Everybody can hear me? All right. Since we're getting to work, I'm going to take my jacket off and get, comfortable. That's a nice university. All right. There are no rules to this except that there are people with microphones in the audience, so wait for them to come when I call on you. We're going to go boy, girl, so everybody gets a chance, so it's fair. And before your question, please introduce yourself and tell us where you are from, okay? And try to keep your question or comment relatively short so we can get more questions or comments in, okay? We will start with this young lady right here in the white blouse.
It's a little tight here, so.
Thank you.
Yoni Campbell, a lecturer at the University of the West Indies. Thank you so much for your talk. Very interesting. And I wondered as well on the Cuban issue. Now that your policy has actually changed towards Cuba, I wondered about your views on how it is that we should approach CARICOM, should approach its relationship with Cuba in terms of deepening that relationship. Should they now perhaps move to join in CARICOM? Thank you.
Well, first of all, I think CARICOM can make its own decisions, and we'll respect it. Cuba will be participating in the Summit of the Americas, and I think it is my strong belief that if we engage, that offers the greatest prospect for escaping some of the constraints of the past. I think the Cuban people are extraordinary and have huge potential, and what's encouraging is that the overwhelming majority of Cubans are interested in ending the Cold War, the last vestige of the Cold War, and moving forward. It's going to take some time for the United States to fully implement some of the things that have already been agreed to, and it's going to take a little bit longer before you actually have complete normal relations between the United States and Cuba. What I would say to Caribbean countries is absolutely you should continue to engage in Cuba in the ways that you've already done in the past. I do think that it is important for all of us to be able to speak honestly where we see concerns about issues of human rights and political freedom. And I'm not saying anything publicly that I haven't said directly to Raul Castro. There are still constraints on the ability of the Cuban people to express themselves, or to organize political parties, or to start a business. And sometimes, the same things we expect for ourselves in our country, somehow we think other people don't want. But I believe that each country has its own unique cultures, its own unique traditions. I don't expect every country to pursue the same policies or have the same political practices as the United States. And I am certainly aware of the flaws that exist in our own country that we have to fix. But I do believe there are certain principles that are universal. I think that all people want basic dignity and want basic freedom and want to be able to worship as they please without being discriminated against, or they should be able to speak their mind about an important issue pertaining to their community without being arrested. And so wherever we see that, we try to speak out. But what we also try to do is engage and recognize that even with countries that we have differences, there's also going to be commonality and overlap. And the United States and Cuba should both have an interest in dealing with climate change, for example, because when the oceans start lapping up on Miami or on Havana, nobody's going to distinguish, well, where did they stand on this or that ideological issue. And so we have to find where there are areas of cooperation, but I will continue to try to be consistent in speaking out on behalf of the issues that are important to all people, not just some. Okay, good. All right, it's a gentleman's turn. This gentleman right here, he looks very serious. He's got glasses, and looking sharp. Plus, he's got a copy of my book, so.
Thank you very much, sir.
He's clearly a wise
Thank you very much. My name is Chef Brian Lumley. I'm a young Jamaican chef here, and I own a restaurant, 689 by Brian Lumley. Just saying. My question to you, I'm going to stay a little bit off the politics for a bit, and I've witnessed your journey a lot, and the question is kind of two-part. If you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice before the start of your 2008 term, what would it be? And the second part is, could you sign this book when you're finished? Thank you very much.
I'll sign the book. So the question was, for those who couldn't hear, if I were to go back and give myself advice before I started 2008, what would the advice be? I suppose I could have started dyeing my hair earlier, so then people wouldn't say, "Man, he's getting old." Probably, you're going like this. At least I got hair, man. I'm teasing you. I'm messing with you. I think that, keep in mind that when I came into office, we were going through the worst global financial crisis since the 1930s. And so we had to make a series of decisions very quickly, many of which were unpopular. Overall, I think we got it right. I think we did the right thing. Because I think we took these steps, not only were we able to avoid the kind of Great Depression that we saw in the 1930s, not only was America able to bounce back and start growing more rapidly than most of our peers, drive down unemployment faster, create more jobs faster, but that also had an impact on the global economy, and it had an impact on the Caribbean economy, that we were able to bounce back quicker than we might have if we hadn't taken those steps. But it was, I think, costly politically, and what I would have probably advised was that I might have needed to warn the American people and paint a picture for them that was more accurate about the fact that it would take some time to dig ourselves out of a very big hole. Because FDR, when he came into office, the Great Depression had already been going on for 2-3 years. And so people understood how serious it was. With us, we came in just as people were really starting to feel the impacts, and trying to paint a picture that we'll make it, but it's going to take some time, and here are the steps that we need to take. I think I would have advised myself to do a better job spending more time not just getting the policy right, but also describing it in ways that people understood, that gave them confidence in their own future. I think that would probably be the most important advice that I would have given myself. So, good. All right, it's a young lady's turn. That young lady right there. Yeah, you. Yeah. You, yes. Oh. Well, I'll call on both of you. I'll call on you later. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're here and we're looking at you, and we're all very honored to be here and very taken aback by your leadership qualities, and seeing that you're the President of the United States of America and you're so influential. I want to know how you handle the mental strain that comes with being in charge of so much.
What's your name?
Kimberly McDermott from the University of the West Indies.
Fantastic. How do I handle stress? I'll be honest with you. One of the things that happens as you get older is you start appreciating both your strengths and your weaknesses. Hopefully, you gain a little wisdom about what you're good at and what you're not. And Michelle can give you a long list of things I'm not good at. But one thing that I've always had, which has served me well, is a pretty good temperament. And I attribute that partly from growing up on an island with trade winds and beaches, and it makes you calm. But I try not to get too high when things are going well, so that I don't get too low when things are going badly. And try to keep a long view of how the process of social change takes place and how the trajectory of your own life is going to proceed. We get caught up in the day-to-day so much. And it's interesting now when I'm talking to my daughters, and somebody said something at school, or there's, I didn't do quite as well on that test as I wanted. And you want them to take it seriously, but you also want to say to them, you know what, this too shall pass. I promise you 3 months from now, much less 30 years from now, you will not remember. And so I think that trying to keep your eye on the prize of where it is that you want to go and not be discouraged or overly impressed with yourself on a day-to-day basis, I think is very important. And then you have to get some exercise in the morning to, so I don't run as fast as these folks, but I get a little exercise, which does help in terms of stress relief. All right, it's a gentleman's turn. Let's see. Somebody from this side. This young man right here in the sharp-looking checkered shirt.
Good afternoon again, Mr. President. Especially as it relates to human rights and social change, I'm Jermaine McKenzie, and I'm a focal point with the Global Fund Board. As it relates to human rights and social change, how do you make the decision to allow societies to go through the natural evolutionary process of having change occur on their own versus having governments exert policies to make these same political, social changes?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. It's an interesting question, and it's one that I have to struggle with all the time. Every society, as I said, is at a different phase in development, in their own history. They have different cultural traditions. And so the way I think about it is that the United States has certain core values and principles that we believe deeply in. And we don't necessarily expect that every country will formulate how to secure those ideals and those principles. We don't expect be done exactly as we do, any more than we expect every, obviously our democracy is not the same as a Jamaican democracy or a British democracy or Australian democracy, but we believe in democracy. We think that if people have the ability to speak out about their own lives, some sense of agency, then that society will be stronger. And that doesn't mean that we won't work with a country that doesn't precisely abide by those principles, but we will still speak out. There are times where a country is clearly engaging activities that are so egregious that it's not culturally specific. It typically has to do with the government wanting to exert control over people and oppress them. And in those instances, I think it is entirely appropriate for us to speak out forcefully, and in some cases to not do business with them. I mean, look at a country like North Korea. I mean, obviously Korean culture is different than American culture. On the other hand, you look at what's happening in South Korea and you look at what's happening in North Korea, and those are two entirely different societies. And I can tell you which one you'd rather live in. And if you have a situation in which people are being murdered simply because they didn't agree with the government on something or didn't want their economic fate to be entirely determined by the whims of some government bureaucrat, and suddenly they're sent to a labor camp, that's something where we as an international community have to speak out on. And then there's some issues that may be culturally specific, but you know what? I think they're wrong. I won't, we're not going to try to force that country to change, but I may try to shame that country. There are nations where slavery still exists. And that may be, part of the ancient culture in that society, but slavery is wrong. And I'm not going to give them the excuse that, well, this is who we are. You know, in Africa, and I can speak, I think, fairly as somebody who's the son of an African father, there are practices like female genital mutilation that may be part of the tradition there, but it's wrong. And I'm going to say so. And it'll be U.S. policy to say that it's wrong. So the tools we use to try to bring about change around the world may vary. And as I said earlier, we're not always perfectly consistent. There are times where we've got allies who are not observing all the human rights we would like. And there are times where there are countries that are adversaries of ours where they do some things quite well. You can't expect us or any country to be perfectly consistent in every circumstance. But what I've tried to do is be fairly consistent in terms of what we believe, what we stand for, and then we use different tools depending on what we think will bring about the most change. In some cases, it'll just be a diplomatic statement. In some cases, it may be serious enough that we will try to organize the United Nations or other multilateral forums to speak out against certain practices. In some cases, it may be so egregious that we need to sanction them, and we will try to organize the international community in that way. And then finally, in the ultimate circumstance, where the violations of our values are so severe that they start spilling over, and in the instance of, for example, genocide, we may say to ourselves, in concert with the international community, we need to intervene because this government is so brutal and so unacceptable that we need to protect people. But we do that in the context of an international conversation so that we're not simply making these decisions or we're not so arrogant that we're not paying attention to what the rest of the world community is saying.
But we think that it's so ironical that at this moment in time, we could broadcast that to the people them here. And it was so ironical that last night, we were talking about the expunging of Marcus Garvey criminal record. Wow. And Marcus Garvey's son, Julius Garvey, was in the studio and we was discussing it. So we were talking to Brown before we leave.
As an AJ.
And then we say, on my right is Mr. Brown, and it's on the left of the post. And on the right of the post is Mr. Daly. Mr. Daly, this is the three of the Third World Group that is here to participate in the Abbey Reggae Festival and Conference. Good afternoon, Mr. Cote. How are you, sir?
I don't know what happened to the post, but the Tiger is good.
All right.
Tiger is doing good.
Yes. And I know this, well, about 30 years ago, we make a journey to Nigeria, and then we hear you follow me after to Nigeria, Third World.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Exactly. Remember when you go to Nigeria 30 years ago?
Yeah, we went right after Triton. Right after Triton. We went to 1982.
After me, go man. Don't use me as reference point, man.
Complicated.
Yes.
Yeah. I know I'm complicated, man. We're free to complicate on you and complicate.
All right, sir. I appreciate that. And then now we have Mr. Daly, the bass player, the original bass player. The man not get old at all. Oh. Where you say, I'm going to tell you, say you get old? No, man, you look same way, man. You look same way. So you know, Mr. Daly?
Well, it's a privilege to sit down in the motherland writer, so when you broadcast your thing, because they know how significant it is. Mutabaruka has been like the root of the Jamaican voice, you know what I mean? And for the right to send to the Ivory Coast now, and send it to chat, believe me.
And I transmit it to Jamaica.
Yeah, we don't take this lightly, you know.
Yes,
it's technology, but guess what happened?
Yes.
We'll give it, you know.
Advanced technology.
Of course.
Yes, you have to use it as our disposal. Now, this sister here, I know you might not know her, I want her to introduce herself to these musicians par excellence.
Well, I know I joined a long time.
You know I joined?
Anguilla thing.
Anguilla, yeah.
We know the puss too.
Somebody let the puss out of the bag.
Yeah, let the puss out of the bag.
Yeah, I'm a Janya Christian, and today I've been introduced in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, as a descendant of Robert Atley Rogers. So right now, I have to kind of represent, you know.
So tell them who is, I mean, I know I said that before, but since we did have this long speech by Obama, it might knock out of the people them head. Remind the people them who is speaking of.
If you ever go to a Rastafari gathering anywhere of any significance, they will say something called the creed. Nowadays we begin it with the opening lines of the creed come from Psalm 68. Princes and princesses must come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall stretch. Well, the rest of that come from a book named the Holy Pibi, where it is published as the Shepherd's Prayer by Atley. By the way, these brethren here just come from Anguilla. So the circle are closed every which way you look. Yes. That man, in 1924, published a book named the Holy Pibi, which rapidly became known in the black world as the black man's Bible. And essentially it was a vision where the God of Ethiopia appeared to this man and appointed him as a shepherd for the suffering posterities of Ethiopia. And in the book there's a question about the relationship between the biblical Christ and him and so. Because we have many Christs, you know. And he was...
one of them.
Yes. Right. And so he said, well, the biblical Christ come for the children of Israel. Yeah. And the Almighty speak to him to speak to we. So that is who I am. Rastafari.
Very profound, sis.
And she's living in Ethiopia at this moment.
Yes, I have.
For the past 4 years.
Where I probably would not have heard President Obama. I'll be reggae.
Yeah, I'll be reggae and presented something glorious here. But we will talk about this festival here because, you know, it's such a magnified and huge festival that they had to actually start on a radio station to coincide with this festival here. And this is the radio station that come out of this. Wow. 2 years ago, they came to Jamaica and said they want to do a festival 2 years, in the next 2 years. But they want to start a radio station first. 7 months ago, this is a radio station. We got contact and say, yeah, you know, if we come to this festival, we'd like broadcast from IRFM, not just talking on a tape, on a telephone, but doing the program that we do. Same way how we do it in Jamaica, the two program them. And this is the manifestation of it, and we feel good about it.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Third World perform, when Third World perform again. Tomorrow night.
Yes.
And you have your cello ready and tune up on it.
I don't tune up yet, but it's ready.
So, which part my bridge in there? My Congo player,
Ruppy.
You know, say my drum on the teeth. The teeth, my drum on it.
Oh, you're going to
I tune out 5
we take for AJ Brown life.
Yeah.
What next thing we're going to hear?
I tune out bad. So it goes easy. But we love that bridge in there. After the man can play drum in that.
It's not easy at all, man.
And then we go up on the Congo again and it's rubbish. Sunday on the road, it's just one stop or go. I don't know come specifically.
No, we've been circling because as the sister said was in Anguilla and doing the moon splash and boy, that was something else.
How long ago that was in Anguilla?
Maybe a week ago.
Yeah. So we're on a tour, like how long the tour is?
We're upon some movements. A tour is when you really go every night to play somewhere else, you know. But you know, sometimes we play this weekend and then 2 days after we play here and then 7 days after.
We play the next place. The distance and all them things there.
So we kind of leave the tour into the younger youths. Them, no, we can do it every night. You know?
We're not playing one test matches. One day international.
Mr. Brown here, the man himself.
Yeah, well.
As a youth, them say them leave the tour to the youth. Them and youth them attack.
Well, I can only go where they go.
All right.
Well, it was the same age as me, so you put me in a back the
You see, right?
You better believe that.
I get joke, you know. When we used to tour, the same long tour them, so we know bother with this again. But we used to go to Nevada and Las Vegas and them things there. That man was like the chief musician in one of the big.
What do you mean?
You see, the one here named Desi Jones. You see, if him know, say, the tour I go through that, so he must say, we have to stop and see this man here.
Of course.
The man was a big man in Las Vegas, you know. The man have a voice in a shame, man. Just no man, I feel good for no say you connect with one of the best Jamaican band then.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel good. And, you know.
That is true. And I remember you from the course in Muta. Right? So we have history to remember that.
Yes, of course.
Many instruments and have the knowledge of the music itself and the history of it.
Like all the man write music.
To be able to interpret the music in their own way and present it in a way that is professional, and you know you're seeing it in live music because the technology has changed. You know, so live music.
Yes.
There's an emphasis on that worldwide now.
Yeah, especially, I mean, right now in a Kingston at any given night, you can go somewhere in a Kingston and hear live music.
Yes, I'm sure, Richie. That's what I tell it because, to me, well, what AJ said, I endorse it 100%, you know, as far as that whole thing is concerned. But to be quite honest with you, there's another side to the coin still, because there's some very negative energy, in my opinion, in the music in Jamaica as well. Where you have, you know, man want kill man with sound thing and two DJ go one dance one night and they're going to specifically to undermine the next one. And that kind of thing to me right now, I don't consider it positive. But I feel that what I'm seeing with like Raging Fire and Chronics and them youth that were dealing with it is so much more strong than even that negative side that you know, it's that even worth really talking about it too tough still, because you know, there's some very positive dancehall as well. Not everything is negative. So
yeah, well, if a dancehall music me listen to, and I have some of them I just come with and play, but we have to select meticulously. We just want to welcome back IRFM.
Yes.
For those of you in Jamaica, we are broadcasting live from Cote.
Zion 105.3 FM.
What? You broke
Yes, sir.
We are talking to, at this moment in time, what's name again? Carrot. We are talking Carrot. Tell me Carrot, we are talking. Call her Igbo, but tell me not to call her Igbo.
No, we are talking
to Yakor. We are talking to, we are been over here today. I know Willie. Tell me I know Willie. I know Willie. So, you know the question I'm never asking now. If you don't answer, no answer now. Willie, Carrot, Igbo, three foundation from them time there. The other one said something about that movement.
They were
just talk about Brown a while ago. Mr. Brown just talk about school of music a while ago, and we have to give credence and credit to Igbo. Igbo is one of them man. They were really train the youth them and bring them forward.
Yeah, man, they get full respect.
Full respect.
No, let me tell you something. The foundation of third world music and the concept of third world band, Igbo have a strong part for playing inside it. We now discount that at any time. You know?
Yes.
And even Willie Stewart too, the drummer.
Yeah.
Major contribution.
But we just show you said that's not foundation. Foundation man is myself, Prilly Hamilton.
Yeah, we know
this man Mr. Neely will sit down with some. Igbo Cooper.
Yes.
Named Carl was to play drums. But Colonel Marshall came shortly after.
Yeah, as the drummer.
Yeah.
Him go with Zappo after, Zappo before.
He went with Zappo after.
Okay.
So that could have happened pre-Willie. You understand? I'm pre-Monroe.
All right.
Yeah.
We want to go back to where we just hear, come out of the music now and come back to where we just hear the speech. For those of you in Jamaica who don't know, we did broadcast the speech of Obama live on the radio in Cote d'Ivoire, that the people in Cote d'Ivoire could listen to what was taking place in Jamaica. We have below is smiling too much.
It's sweet though, isn't it?
Waiting over here. Tell me waiting over here.
Agenda is, Obama is busy advancing his agenda. I am here as Rastafari to advance I and I own.
All right.
He spoke as I would have expected him to speak. The issues or innovations he highlighted were of interest but of no surprise. And I You know, let's put it like this. What Obama did in terms of getting into office in the first instance and that use of technology, I was reflecting on how it is that we kind of echoing that here. But this whole experience of Abbey Reggae and why we are all here is nothing accidental about it at all. And I just feel like it's a circle. I just have that feeling of somehow we are in the business of closing a circle.
I feel so too. I feel so too because I was saying last night on the program that one of my real dreams when I do Cutting Edge was to say, I wonder if we could have really put Cutting Edge, broadcast it live from Africa, not through a telephone in my ears, but actually the exact things we're doing at the studio, Irie, we do it yourself. And here it is, we are doing the exact thing we would have been at the studio, Irie, and we have broadcast it in Africa yourself and in Jamaica at the same time.
Of course, real time, man.
Abbey
Reggae.
Abbey Reggae. Zion Radio.
It's all like you have shares right now. Try you come and not say it.
Well, I hope they realize that by the time we're done. No, but look the symbolism of it, when you think of the purpose. Remember now, I live in Ethiopia now, Holy Mount Zion that. And I come west, and I find that I haven't left Zion. Rastafari.
I am still there. You're still in a Zion.
Precisely. Yes,
at the reggae station, say, Zion Radio. And it's really interesting to hear some ones in West Africa give a station a name where Rastafari here continuously. And also livicate the whole radio station to the promotion of Rastafari and reggae. It's amazing. You know, I find it very amazing. You know, say that them create a station to promote reggae and Rasta.
That's great.
Yeah, and this festival is also to promote reggae and Rasta. Because the brethren, he was supposed to here, I don't know why I'm not here still. But what them tell me is that, watch a man, you go to Ratatam and you see this big festival in Europe. Watch a man, you go to Ratatam and you see this big festival in Europe. You know, white people are doing it. Then why we as Africans can't do it? And the man them just put them out where the money is.
Yeah, but there's another great thing to know about that.
Yeah.
Is that, for me personally, I mean, and when I speak about for all the third world, is that we get a chance to actually perform with a lot of African reggae acts.
Oh gosh, man.
Yeah, which is not a regular thing. Which is not a regular thing. So that is very special to me. And I want to make sure I use my ear and listen while all African acts come up.
But you know, as we told you, so at the festival we're going, you put a deal at the festival we're going.
Absolutely. Yeah,
this is the Steppn Razor, the art of war. Wow.
I've got my life invested in you right now. Can't turn my back on all the things we share. Everything has its value. Everything has its price. All my assets I'm cashing just for you. 'Cause I'm committed to keeping this love alive. I'm committed staying in love with you. 'Cause I'm committed, baby, to keeping this love alive. I'm committed staying in love with you. We made it together.
Yes, as we say, from Africa to Jamaica, the Steppn Razor, the art of war, live, coming to you, Zion Radio to IRFM. Mr. Brown, you listen to the speech a while ago, you drop a sleep like here.
No, man, I've been listening.
You did not sleep, man. You did not sleep. Don't worry about it. Why you look at me like this, man? Why you not sleep?
Well, listen, man, speak. My
brain go put cigarette in your mouth.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think about Obama's speech a while ago?
Well, based on what I've heard, he's you know, the speech was sounded very, very much like he was comfortable with his environment. He pinpointed, a few Jamaicans who are expressing themselves in a way that shows the strength of one person and the way that one person can make a difference. Which speaks to the journey that not only every human have to make or embark upon, but the purpose of each human being to our humanity. And basically, he has showed that there is still the importance of Jamaicans who can make a difference, and also just talk about things that he as a president has observed over the years, and taken the time to make a decision for visit Jamaica while he's in office, for pinpoint the importance of Jamaica and to him. And even though he's spending a short time, he can express himself by going to places where he wants to go, not necessarily
as him land last night, he went to the Bob Marley Museum.
Exactly.
9 o'clock at night.
Right. And I was reading an article in the Gleaner where he says he has all Bob Marley albums, which means that he's aware of what is happening, of the importance of Jamaica and what we as a nation, the strength of our nation. We have been a voice in the wilderness for years on uncertain issues in our region.
I know, say, sometimes if you take somebody outside for sure, say, really is great.
Yeah.
It's even like the reggae music. Sometimes you take some white guy to play the music out there. I'm come sure we say it's a thing to play. That means at the right, but look all white people are playing the music.
Yes, and but the thing is, Muta, I don't want to segue into something else, but the fact that it can be shown to us that we have a music that the world loves.
Yes.
I don't understand why the government don't see that in a way where them can create ways for the world to enjoy the indigenous musicians.
Well, that's what we're doing here right now in a way still.
Yes, we are.
By Mutabruka from Africa.
There you go.
And we're opening up certain ground. But I just want to mention one thing about what the president said. He made one statement that really, really surprised me. He said that there are 1 million people in America who are either directly of Jamaican descent or have Jamaican blood. That's extraordinary. 1 million people.
There's more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. If you check it, there's more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. Not to mention all England.
Exactly.
I mean, you know it too. Look at some place where you play and people say no Jamaican. Well, me personally witness this. When they have Finland a play, when they have Finland a play and I see pure white people in front of me. I say, wait, is there Jamaican are those? I mean, the beautiful Jamaican words where we love. Where them say, we are the back in and them say, yeah.
For real.
We up there saying, so we kind of everywhere still. We kind of everywhere. We don't talk about that.
I didn't realize the number was so high though. 1 million people in North America alone. That is, I wonder if Canada involved in that too.
Maybe. Because North America means Canada and I mean they call Canada North America too.
Yeah.
Mr. Daly, where you think out where you never hear?
No, listen. In spite of what Obama said, that's not even the significance of the visit,
Yeah.
Because guess what? I watched Mandela come to Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
And there's many places he could have gone when him up on him release. and they never leave that island out. So it's a place where significant, esteemed people come for just pay the respects.
Yes.
Right, and it make a connection big time, you know, because not to throw back to the time, but I remember that many people, one of the time when Mandela was free, say I was some Whitney Houston and a whole heap of people, Bryce and a whole heap of people start sing song in Johannesburg and say, yes, Mandela is free. And I never hear one of them sing any song on them album paying tribute to him and was in captivity for 27 years.
Domino's Grand Deal. Oh yes, we take purchase any medium one topping pizza for only $1,000. Must set a code grand to redeem at Domino's.
The time by Domino's is 2 minutes past 4 o'clock.
As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, I was listening to a live album that Thid did with what a guitarist Santana man. Yes, and Ibo made a speech say he's looking forward to the day when Mandela will be free.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a prophecy.
No, but JJ, I'm one at a time that every show, every talk, every radio show, everything, you know, person named Mutabaruka from Jamaica.
Yeah, see, really.
Mandela every night. So what is Mutabaruka going to do when he's free? Africa, right?
You know, South Africa is the African country we go most. We're going about 8 times since we started going there. And I love it very much.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah.
South Africa, Durban,
Cape Town, and all that.
Yeah,
Cape Town.
Well, this is.
No, this is Ethiopia.
No. It's the African country. I was myself. And it's always hard to leave because they want to keep it.
I enjoyed Ethiopia too, though.
Ethiopia nice.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it.
When the millennium was spinning over, we were in Ethiopia.
I was there too.
That was my first trip.
I was there too.
Yeah, yes, but I didn't see the eyes, so I want to ask something though, because this is happy reggae, and to tell the truth, governments don't normally impress me. Well, Obama, get a little thing, but yeah. And so here are we, and clearly there's a lot of government money and a whole official backing and supporting and sponsoring of this thing.
Government money.
Yeah. So what I want to, right. But then what happened in Jamaica and the whole business of reggae music and so on, as insiders, it might seem different, but to Jamaica is in Ethiopia. I'm Jamaican. They call all of us Jamaican, and they don't know anything else about the rest of the Caribbean. And it is so in many parts of the world. And I believe we are here, even Third World, and so not just to perform, but also to make sure that this thing becomes what the intention is I set out to be. So, what would be the advice then to the government of Jamaica via Cote Dvoire?
You asked me a Third World.
You're talking about advice as far as input in the music is concerned.
Yes.
Making this festival be a stepping stone to something bigger and greater in Africa.
Well, I think the intention from what I've heard with this whole concept of this festival here was to not only do this on an Ivory Coast thing, but also to interest people from other parts of Africa to come to this festival. And I think that is a key thing to the whole thing right here now, because this could come in like a template that could go all around Africa. In the same way where when we have pizza and food, we go all over Europe with them summer jam and them this and them Chimsey festival and them all over Europe. It could be a similar thing happening in Africa here. We could have 10 or 15 big festivals every year in Africa that could energize this kind of feeling. But if it's not South Africa, you might have a little spot one time in Nigeria, you might get a little thing over Kenya, but you don't find there's any thrust where you could have said the music directly. I'm here say, even people from the Jamaican government went down on fact-finding mission looking at Rotterdam and those festivals. So that energy could still be
every year
here toward Africa.
Let send people go down there all the while. And I don't, it would have been nice if the government did send somebody down there.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing no government minister or anybody from the government
You mean the present government?
Yeah, there are one government and the present government. Because we know Babs Grace is the coordinator for the tour, but she's not in the government position at this moment. It would be nice if she could have if they would have sent somebody here to see the power of the music in Africa. Because we know about the power of it in Europe already, you know. And we know about the power of it still, but it is always feeling refreshing for me to say, with their Africa. Even right now, with their Africa, with Sister and Bridget and I say, wow, you know, it just feels nice. And you know it's going to be a wonderful thing. Whether rain fall or not, even though the rain don't fall, you know. I want to tell the people them in Jamaica, really and truly, you know. It's 9 o'clock right now. 9 o'clock. So I guess it's about, what, 4 o'clock over there. 5 hours difference. The people, they must know that. Right now it's dark outside. But the appreciation must be sustained and maintained in terms of this festival. And that is really where we should work for. I mean, all out there, so no, we are, you know, say that we should have worked for this festival, push forward in this vision of one in Nigeria, one in this, one in that, one West Coast, one East Coast. Because when you talk about West Coast, all the way I think about California. You answer when you say West Coast, I think about Nigeria, Ghana, and all them. When you talk about East Coast, you talk about Kenya, Ethiopia, and them places. Uganda. North Africa, even Morocco too, you know.
Yes, sir.
Morocco, we have Morocco and South Africa there. You know, it's a massive, it have a potential to be massive.
You know why we need the African thing too? Because you can find out, so right now in Europe, from when we started, where they said 40 years ago, you find out so that they have developed their own reggae artists.
Yes.
They have copied what we have done. More power to them, cool as well, technical from them. But the intention is to really ease us out and call the music.
Like when Japanese do?
Yes. You know? So,
yeah, we have to know that.
You can say right now, we really need the support of our people, if it's a government body, to support the musician, right? And the craft that they're doing to see that we are sustained in this thing. And it's not to say benefit we as individual musicians, but it's supporting the culture that is on size and cover tourism and because there's a need for food.
So whatever I do now is also artists who have band, them and tell them artists them can't afford the band, they must come and they will get band to back them up.
Tracks.
Right.
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. And should have known some of your Uncle Belly too, we just going along with it.
And you know, Muta, one thing, we never mind comments from the beginning, but you know, it was all about coming to Jamaica, come sit with my Sunsplash, you know, because that's when we shine the best, you know.
Yeah.
You know, our little hometown, you know.
Remember Sunsplash, man?
Oh, you mean? I mean, man, make the folks, make the audience come sit it down in the yard, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't mind travel come them places. Yeah. I mean, man mind go Europe.
But Jamaica.
Come to Jamaica.
Come see.
I mean, the man was selling sugar cane and the orange. We can eat the food after the festival go on.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? I mean, now reading the newspaper that why you said that third world mash up Super Jam and Summer Jam and all that. But some of that helping. You're not getting up no time.
But this is a kind of late. The first time I got Sunsplash was 1982. It was still at Jarrett Park. Exactly. And this was like a highlight in my life. And I could remember like maybe 4 o'clock, whatever morning, a band named Blue Rhythm Band from Chicago. Wake up all around me, I could hear blouse and skirts, something, because it was like a shock. So how come we not arrest that?
Jamaican fascinated with them to other people and do cultural expression. You know, it's like when you're a white man and say ganj. And I really can't try my try. You find it very, you know,
amusing.
Yeah, very amusing. This is the Steppn Razor, the art of war, coming to you live from Cote d'Ivoire in the Ivory Coast in Africa, and it is
Zion, talking about Mount Zion. How beautiful are thy gates, I delight in. That is Alfred Wycliffe Gums from Anguilla, who live in St. Thomas.
So, the station in Jamaica called IRFM, the number one reggae station in.
be safe than sorry. I know myself, so I'm my own time grinding. If you don't listen, then you're surely gonna slip. Walk the walk, got your pumpkin belly. When people kill Bob Marley, and Peter Tosh, it was an accident. Your best friend, your worst enemy. And jealousy between a bench and a high. You love the right. Wanna better hold on good. Wanna like that. You don't go live right. Wanna better hold on good.
Yeah, we call it remix. The man called Aini Kamuti.
Wanna like that. You don't go live right. Wanna better hold on good. If you climb the hill, you did not show where you stick. Hurry, come up, hurry down quick. Even if you hit up in a Spain town brick, there is a way so no well wanted. No use some an ego trip. Hang up your head, can't reach it. But lyrics written like some old salt physics. So why you acting like a dog and buck? Is a hill right? Wanna better hold on good. Wanna like that?
Live from West Africa, straight to the heart of the Caribbean, especially in Jamaica. Steppn Razor, the art of war.
And every man don't win a penitentiary. Bang in the country for my brother Randy. Growing your vegetable elegantly. If you love his majesty, we couldn't touch you with no negromancy. Out no leave if I don't sing. And every rain softened up is a hill right. Wanna better hold on good. Wanna like that. You don't go live right. Wanna better hold on good. You don't go live right.
You know, it's 9:15 where we are, and you know it's 4:15 in Jamaica. We'll take a break and come forward. That is in Jamaica. But we'll continue the journey right that's in Africa.
Smile for me, Jamaica. Smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. Whenever you cry, here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. Yeah. Hey, she have a rich history. A beautiful woman with the sweetest gifts. Beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss. Of a nice sunset on the evening season. But she tell me say she tired. Tired of the exploits and the liars. She give them reggae, give them beaches, give them flowers and the ferns. All she got is abuse in return. But I say, don't you worry yourself, mama. Hey, chronic is there to your head, mama. Ooh, I said, no worry yourself, mommy. One thing me I beg you do for me. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Hey, smile for me, Jamaica. Never you cry, here am I. Girl, I'm here for you, Jamaica. What must I try? Oh, my.
So we are telling people them in the airport that this is one of the youth them where I lead the charge in the consciousness of the reggae music. Them call it the reggae revival. The bridging name is Chronics, and we know say you soon see me in the area. You soon see me in the area. Trust me.
But see ya, them must sit down, say you're out of ideas. You give them art and sweet literature. You're gonna make the world see the better picture. I said, no worry yourself, mama. Chronics is here to your head, mama. Hey, I said, no worry yourself, mommy. One thing me, I beg you do for me. And I said, smile, yeah, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, yeah, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. Never you cry, here am I. And I said smile, boy, you can get
So as we say to the people of Ivory Coast, that was Chronix. And you two is leading the charge in the music business right now, the consciousness of the music. We know say little more you soon see him and you soon say Cat Core son with him.
For real.
Right, Mr. B?
Yes.
They call themselves Zinc Fence.
Yeah, man, Jumbo Steve, man.
And Zinc Fence, them call themselves
The band.
Zinc Fence Redemption.
Is you get the name?
No.
No, you remember it's the third world of Zinc Fence.
Yeah, but we can't over forget that. Oh man, as them saying cricket, how is that, man?
It's some youth you have to watch out for. We play two of them already. The Tabaka Pyramid, we play Ivamar now, we play Chronix, and before the program done, we go and play some more, you know. Ethiopia, all the reggae music are going like you, in terms of radio style, radio.
I don't know. There's one radio station that I am aware of that is English speaking. English is not the dominant language yet, and it's still the only language I speak. But I know there's Sydney Salmon, which I'm sure I know. And he has, I think there's more of a nightclub reggae scene that I don't know personally, but you know, which comes to me one way or another. So I can't really speak sensibly about reggae music in Ethiopia. So I better hush.
I love that. What you don't know about, you don't talk about. Of course. And as we said, this festival is going on tonight. You know, we have some artists coming all the way from Ethiopia on this festival here. We have artists from we have artists from Mauritania, Ghana. We have artists from Burkina Faso, Mali. We have artists from Jamaica, Guinea. We have artists from a lot of places in Africa, and it's really a gathering of artists in the reggae vibes. And tonight, the headliner is Alpha Blondy. For those of you who don't know Alpha Blondy, one of the first album Alpha Blondy making reggae was in Jamaica, when he used the Wheelers. Album named Jerusalem. He make it with the Wheelers in there, and we book him up so much time all over the world that it's unbelievable. He's one of the, now he's the biggest reggae artist outside of Jamaica, from Africa.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you have Lucky Doombe who them killed from South Africa, but Alpha Blondy right now, from this country, is the biggest reggae artist outside of Jamaica in Africa.
Sure.
I feel good about that. And then, you know, we're going to have Marsha Griffiths and Jody Moat teaming up with Yeshima Beth, which is the which is the daughter of Freddie McGregor and Jody Moat. She will be singing with the two sisters them as I3, backed by 809 band with Nambo,
Robbie
Lynn, Gibby, big artists. And one of the youth them who did win the Rising Star, the saxophonist.
Yeah.
I remember when name, but
Muta, we learn the pronunciation, the saxophonist.
That's what
of course. Since you get selected, man. The saxophonist.
You know what I'm saying?
Bram.
I tell you something. You want to hear the truth of it?
Yes, sir.
It's a damn answer them murder.
Yeah.
You have a think for you have a think for that seriously, because if you go wrong, I am tormented. How can I go and public radio and say this foolishness? This is what I say, saxophonist. The next thing in my mind is, why? Yeah, but you have Kimani Mali, who will perform also with his band. You have Mutabaruka will be performing with 809. And you have Third World, which is tomorrow night.
We'll be performing with Third
World band. And then on the last night, we will have Morgan Heritage, the family of the Heritage, the tribe of Heritage, I call them. They will be performing right here in Cote d'Ivoire at the Abbey
Reggae, and we're talking to you live from Zion.
The International Abidjan Reggae Festival.
Abbey Reggae, the first edition, 9, 10, 11, 12, April 2015 at Planet La Culture. In attraction, Alpha Blondie, Morgan Retail, Third World, I3, Kimani Marley, Jalud, Mutabaruka, and many more. Abbey Reggae, 4 days for reggae favor. You're Rasta. Don't miss. Get up, stand up.
Yes, for those of you who's in confusion who we're talking to here, Johnny.
You can't name it, it's Ijanya.
You see, Ijanya.
Jackie, do something.
The oldest. Yeah, get me nervous with this. That, you know. Yeah, get me nervous. All right. Ijanya, which is now living in Ethiopia, the sister here that is coaching the program, mate. You have AJ Brown, the vocalist now for Third World. You have Cat Core, the lead guitarist,
founder,
cello, founder, and whatsoever else. And you have the man called Richie Daly, bass player, extraordinaire. And this is in Africa with them. We have to stress that and emphasize that.
Yes, sir, West Africa.
People of Jamaica, we're not talking to you from Ocho Rios.
Hey!
Who are the people of Jamaica know say the program is not being, we're not talking to you in the studio of IRFM, we're talking to you in the studio of
Zion in Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan. Come for Abbey Reggae.
So we tell about the youth that we are right up in Jamaica now. We're talking now to Cote d'Ivoire. The people in Cote d'Ivoire who are listening to we are right now on Zion Radio. And we mentioned Protege. We want to play a combination with a next youth with Protege, which is one of the biggest tune them, I think it's for last year. One of the biggest tune them for last year coming out of Jamaica. Protege.
And it's a Protege, eh? Chronics are what you say, eh? Okay.
Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be chilling in the West Indies. I provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees.
When me see Jah, me see a way. Drastically straight from hypocrisy, I say, hey. Every man to them own a philosophy. I live the proper way and then me read a chapter daily. One day in a city hungry and no eat. And food they don't have country, just a drop off of the tree then. You see say poverty no real then. Is what the reason revealing.
In the whole wide world, and I do
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
I provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees.
When the rain beats up at on the roof, herb just a steam pepper pot on the stew. Life is a dream if you got gratitude. So go tell the regime they can't stop what we do now. Information you think on your own, or else you're a slave to the things that you know. What do you know if you learn every day we ought? It is of importance for I and I gather. If we cannot show now a balance that we are, how do we propose then to carry it abroad? Then I go to Ethiopia and you not have a plan. The building of a nation and a helper on. Every one a lover, one a man is just a man. It shall be a coronation when we land.
Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be chilling in the West Indies. I provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and
Meanwhile, one man needs another. Mankind will do what they must to survive. Hear me now. In a gunman world, any night in black he not work. Maros flat and the toolbox full. Magazine in the toolbox full. And he's watching as the days go by. And he's counting as his peers all die. Sleeping with the rifle across his chest. So he never gets a good night's rest. And then he's cranky in the morning times. And more victims have to lose their lives. The community at twist and word. Sing that there wasn't in a gunman world. In a gunman life, he might have come home from work one night. So every minute matter ignores advice. From his sleeping baby, mother and child. That he won't win every game he plays. So she know he'll meet his end one day. Some juvenile will have to earn his stripe. And have to take another gunman's life. What if a backstabber names his price? And now ironic if him dead from night. The amount of bullet when him put from boy. Chop the scripts until and destroy. Now tell me, is it worth it all? If one done rise, then the next must fall. Tell me, is it worth it all? Those sleepless nights and patrol roll call. Tell me, is it worth it all?
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Tell me, is it worth it?
Welcome to Music News. It's Thursday, April 9. I'm Kishima Francis. President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, has labeled his visit to the Bob Marley Museum as one of the more fun trips he has had since his presidency. Mr. Obama, who arrived on the island last night, made his first stop, an unscheduled visit to the Bob Marley Museum.
The quick trip that I made last night to Bob Marley's house was one of the more fun meetings that I've had since I've been president, as a big fan since I was in high school, and is indicative of the incredible spirit of the Jamaican people.
President Barack Obama has in recent times revealed that Bob Marley's music helped raise his awareness about the struggles of persons outside of the U.S. during his college years. Natasha Green Clark, who was President Barack Obama's tour guide at the Bob Marley Museum on Wednesday night, has revealed that the first U.S. black president was listening to Bob Marley's Exodus on Air Force One, the president's official aircraft. Natasha, during an interview with Elise Kelly during the Easy Skanking today, explains that the president is down to earth.
What was your first impression about Mr. Obama?
Oh, he's just down to earth in a sense where he's having a conversation. He's talking directly to you. And that's from over the years I've been watching him doing interviews and giving speeches. That's what I always see, where when he's talking, he's directing to you. You know, nothing's going to distract him from that. You know, he's giving you his undivided attention. And at the end of the tour, he even said to my manager, Natasha, gave a good tour.
Oh, wonderful.
When he got out of his car, the first thing he said is that, yes, this is it, Bob Marley. From that alone, I just imagined that he was singing and dancing right throughout the tour.
What song he was singing? What song was he singing?
He said his favorite song, Exodus, Movements After People. He was singing that because he said he was listening to it on his way down on Air Force One. He sang Three Little Birds, and then when we went to the shot room during the tour where Bob got shot in 76, he was very, mesmerized by that in a sense where the reason why he got shot, and he was determined to prove a point where with a bullet in his arm, he still went ahead and performed the concert, and the song Ambush in the Night was playing, and he was nodding and, like he was confirming and saying, yes, that's a man who, has a vision, inspiration, and that's it.
President Obama penned his appreciation in the official guest book at Jamaica House before engaging in bilateral talks with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. Mr. Obama wrote, and I quote, "It is a pleasure to visit Jamaica, known for its beauty and extraordinary spirit of its people. May the deep and abiding friendship between our nations continue for generations to come." End quote. Bilateral talks with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, a summit meeting with heads of government of the Caribbean community, a wreath-laying ceremony to honor veterans of World War I and World War II, and a President's Town Hall Forum with Caribbean and regional young leaders were some of the activities on the agenda for President Barack Obama before he departs Jamaica for Panama later today. Jamaican dub poet Miguel Williams, more popularly known as Steppn, was the first to ask President Obama about the United States' stance on the decriminalization of marijuana in Jamaica. The president's first response was he knew that would be a question.
How did I anticipate this? I do want to separate out what are serious issues in the United States and then how that relates to our foreign policy and our interactions with the region. There are two states in the United States that have embarked on an experiment to decriminalize or legalize marijuana, Colorado and Washington State. And we will see how that experiment works its way through the process. Right now, that is not federal policy, and I do not foresee anytime soon Congress changing the law at a national basis. But I do think that if there are states that show that they are not suddenly a magnet for additional crime, that they have a strong enough public health infrastructure to push against the potential of increased addiction, then it's conceivable that that will spur on a national debate. But that is going to be some time off.
Several persons have taken to social media to discuss the question asked by Steppn. Sanchin and Agent Sasko, a.k.a. Assassin, entertained the crowd earlier today prior to Obama's arrival at the University of the West Indies. In what was not her best performance, the songsters presented Everything Reminds Me of You, Anything Is Possible, and also a rendition of Bob Marley's Redemption Song. Tassan and Agent Sasko entertained the likes of Usain Bolt, recently crowned Casey Fennell, and politicians from Jamaica and across the Caribbean. Jason J. Williams, music director, and Lenny Littlewhite are two of the well-known Jamaican film industry players who will be in attendance at the 6th annual Lignum Vitae Film Festival at the Northern Caribbean University's main campus in Mandeville on Sunday. The festival's co-founder, Judith Bodley, tells Music News that this year will continue its tradition of having a star lineup of judges. The festival has thus far seen a wide array of video submissions. The festival, which has tremendously grown since its inception in 2009, will see the winners from several categories being chosen. Those include trailers, silent films, short films, and animation. On the international scene, American pop star Taylor Swift announced via Twitter that her mother has been diagnosed with cancer. The singer says while she has decided to take her mom, Andrea Finlay's advice and tell her fans about the illness, she's keeping her mom's condition and treatment plan private. Taylor Swift was the one who insisted that her mother do a doctor's check after she found herself too busy to do so. That's Miss Finlay's main reason for the request from her celebrity daughter to make the information public, so persons could also encourage their parents to take their health more seriously. This day in music, 2004, a man was arrested for allegedly stalking pop singer Avril Lavigne. Celebs celebrating their birthday today are Wayne Marshall, Jesse McCartney, and Kristen Stewart.
Politicians are the biggest leader. Say them buy the guns, and them sell the drugs, and them not give the youth them no visa. Pesticides, Dodos, Flacca and Tesha. Them bear the pressure, but me never see no better. Politicians use them no run with gun prisoner. That's why me pick up brother Miguel and Muta. You are listening to Mutabaruka. From King Street to Parade.
Who wants a goodbye to wicked? From Third World, there's Cat 4, Richard Daly, and the man called A.J. Brown. leaving to go catch the kitchen, them say, look at the hotel. But we continue the journey, you know, we're there, so Zion Radio to the IRFM.
To the darling farmer, pay down. Ghana man a plan when police man a come. See I just a downtown gun. The youth say I just a downtown gun. Say bills and rent them thing we can't stand. Where them expect from man and cat man. Same one room bikini, man and woman. You know see them a fi make bread out of sand. Anyway fi get the money from fi pay for education. We sell bag juice in a sun at Villang. White car glass out a gas station. That is separation. Oh, every juvenile wants a gun. Young girls don't can keep buying for the fun. But I just a downtown gun. I just a downtown gun. No man to the darling farmer pay down. Ghana man a plan when police man a come. See I just a downtown gun. The youth say I just a downtown gun. Say take this one to the media. Politicians are the biggest here a leader. Say that them buy the guns, and them sell the drugs, and them now give the youth them no visa. Mrs. Dodos, Flacca and Kesha, them bear the pressure, but me never see no better. Politicians use them, no run with gun prisoner. That's why me pick up brother Miguel and Muta. Oh, every juvenile wants a gun. Young girls don't can keep buying for the fun. But I just a downtown gun. I just a downtown gun. No man to the darling farmer pay down. Ghana man a plan when police man a come. See I just a downtown gun. The youth say I just a downtown gun. Say bills and rent them thing we can't stand. Where them expect from man and cat man. Same man room bikini, man and woman. You know see them a fi make bread out of sand. Anyway fi get the money from fi pay for education. We sell bag juice in a sun at Villang. White car glass out a gas station. That is separation. Oh, every juvenile wants a gun. Young girls don't can keep buying for the fun. But I just a downtown gun. I just a downtown gun. No man to the darling farmer pay down. Ghana man a plan when police man a come. See I just a downtown gun. The youth say I just a downtown gun. Say take this one to the media. Politicians are the biggest here a leader. Say that them buy the guns, and them sell the drugs, and them now give the youth them no visa. Mrs. Dodos, Flacca and Kesha, them bear the pressure, but me never see no better. Politicians use them to run with gun prisoner. That's why me big up brother Miguel and Muta. Every juvenile wants a gun. Young girls
every juvenile wants a gun. Was I just so downtown run? That's a serious thing. I don't know if you know the certain statistics in Ethiopia, but I want to ask you, in Ethiopia, or the crime rates there in Ethiopia? Because you know we have a big problem with it in Jamaica. So.
Yes and no. If you listen to the news, yes. If you just go Jamaica for a vacation, no.
Yeah.
You understand? Because I have never experienced anything crime-wise in Jamaica.
Yeah. But in Ethiopia?
In Ethiopia, it is, I feel very safe walking the streets of Addis Ababa in the night. I will get robbed. I'm on my 5th cell phone in 4 years. So you have to mind it like you mind a baby. But in terms of... And the thing is, though, crime is everywhere where human beings exist. That is just a fact.
But you have some places where a bit more than some. I mean, don't you know if you know any statistics?
Robbery, I can speak of more than any other thing. And that it has to do not just with poverty, but with a perception that if you come live there, you have it.
And
therefore, you
want it.
Yes, that kind of thing. But I don't feel, well, I've been robbed in Anguilla in my house.
Yes, but you don't feel insecure.
Not at all, not at all. But then again, I am not a stranger there. So it depends on how you present yourself to the world too. If you go down the road clutching your bag under your arm and looking suspicious, somebody should take it away. But at the same time, I've not found it necessary to have the screw face that I would have in certain parts of Kingston. I have a face that I've developed that, in my opinion, yes, in my opinion, my screw face is intended to say, if you touch me, I will kill you. I've not had to take it out anywhere in Ethiopia.
Yeah, but if you go to Kingston, you have to take it out.
Some places under certain conditions, but I've never really experienced anything of the sort that I hear. I've been in things in Jamaica and see tank coming down the street and soldier on the belly and ting. But in terms of a personal experience, no. So it's all of that.
Yeah, all right. The movement in Africa, we know that you're a part of the sister movement. I don't know.
I'm part of the Rastafari movement.
Yeah.
At large.
All right. We know. All right. You have some sisters, we call them
Empress of Zion.
You're not a part of Empress of Zion.
Well, they asked me to be a member and I said I couldn't be a member of anything, so they make me an advisor. Yeah, I think there's a plan. I just got a job, so I'm kind of being responsible.
In Ethiopia?
Yes, I'm copy editor of the leading English language business newspaper in Addis.
I want the people to know from in Jamaica and in Cote d'Ivoire that the sister we are talking is one of the main teachers that come out of Anguilla, and she was the one who came into Anguilla the first time, and as I said at the beginning of the program, Anguilla was never the same.
That is the truth.
when she invited me there, she never know that what was going to take place would follow her through her years in Anguilla. So I've never been back,
But it was good for us.
Of course.
Of course it was good for us.
I've never been back to Anguilla.
You'll be more welcome now.
Of course. I mean, after so much years, they must invite
Muta, in those days, people were saying, Muta who?
Yes. No, they must say Muta, yes.
And your song that was banned has been unbanned long time.
Oh, them unbanned it.
And your song that was banned has been unbanned long time.
Oh, them unbanned it. Oh, gosh, man, I know that making it get into that problem, Oh, you could have bring a brother like that, and Anguilla to come say him to the Paraka.
It was the Christian Council that they take it on.
Oh, the Christian Council. Yeah, my gosh, man. All right, so as we talk about the sisters then, we really want to talk about sisters then. Is there any group of sisters on Shashamane land right now where maintain certain discipline and order so that the land itself can maintain and be amongst Rastafari Virgin and sit to them as it was like, I mean, I know say a lot of it get taken away, but
the numbers in Shashamane are so small that for example, there's out of the Nyabingi Sister's Council, which is up, you can count on maybe one hand. They formed the Matriarchs Publishing Association. And so for the 50th anniversary of the OAU, I put out a little booklet, which His Majesty's opening address in 63 to the African leaders. And they published it. It was their first publication. But then one move to Addis. The numbers are they're untenable. So as soon as one person moves, it affects the whole thing. So Sistren and Brethren are working together, and it's not confined to Bingi Sistren or 12th. One of the biggest healers, and it's close to the Bingi house, is a 12th tribe Sistren. So we don't really separate along house and mansion lines because we can't afford it. And then, of course, the Sistren tend to not talk as much towards getting a task completed. And so there are things that happen, but it is not an ongoing presence of productive outcomes because the numbers are really just too small. And I have now become one of those annoying people that when you visit Shashamane, we go on like, if you're not stay. You see? And so I hope Cote d'Ivoire know what they're doing, with Abbey Reggae. Because Abbey Reggae is never just reggae. You see it? And
it's a philosophy.
It's a philosophy and it's a wave of consciousness raising that taking place over these few days here, even including now and Zion. So,
Yes. And as we said before to the Jamaican people, we're talking from Africa. We want to heal up the ones who in Jamaica, in IRFM, make it possible for this thing go to. Believe you me, we can't talk enough about Shane Clark. Because I'm there with me from last night, you know. I don't know where Roger's father doing at the studio still, you know. I don't know because of sports we are really, I don't know, and it's not running African. But I'm a bridging. We want to heal up Roger's father. We want to heal up Samantha. We want to heal up Samantha. Believe you me. Sister, I'm going to talk to them about your peers' salary, I don't know, you know. Believe you me. You may talk about peers' salary, but I talk about my own. We don't talk about my own. But no, Samantha is really something else when it comes on to gathering and moving programs how it's supposed to move. We want to heal up Samantha. We want to heal up Cabo. Really and truly, Cabo has been doing the works and wonderful works. So we give thanks. We give thanks. And we not forget Calabash Restaurant. Let me food, you know. And me hungry. We want to heal up me hungry, you know. Even though we're there, so you know, you think so we don't think about me hungry. Because me hungry all right, you know. Believe you, be well hungry at all. Oh, what did I say? Family phone. Family food. They will not talk about them already. Yeah. Oh, yes. We never have here when we are talking Bonnie and Kimmy and family food. All up road, so. They'll write to keep the calabash. We soon come. What kind of calabash? They'll write, you know, the calabash. We love that. The violence have feed calabash that we eat out. We love that. They'll write a bridge and him make it possible. This man, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because if I wasn't him, I'd have Fred from, hey, I told you don't know, man. I don't see me a Fred still, you know.
I get him to know.
I don't see me a Fred. So, we are prepared for the cash pot thing. Yeah, you know, we are prepared for the cash pot thing. But you know, say, anytime cash pot come on and other come on, you know, we're not stopping, you know, because we're not just cater for Jamaica right now. We are cater for almost 20 million people right now in this part of the world. So, and it's lovely. It's this radio station is called
Zion. Talking about Mount Zion. 105.3 FM.
And IRFM is 107 and all the 7 them you can find. Believe you me. Any 7 where you put IRFM. If you put 107 and any other thing will follow it, you get IRFM. Schools of Africa, straight to St. Anne, Ocherios, IRFM, Zion Radio, broadcasting live, the Steppn Razor. Yes, Mama, we're there again.
You know, you're wondering, Muta, if This don't have to be the end of it between Irie and Zion.
No. At the
Right.
beginning.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. Yes, I.
Wait. Let me ask that question. Let me ask, because you have a investment in this thing. Yeah.
But I have an investment in Irie too. I have an investment in the connection.
No. See, now, you're too wise, you're too wise, diplomatic.
But it's what it is, And you see, I go to AU meetings, and I hear the political speaker, whatever diplomatic. I hear all the nice words, and we have nice words here too, but we're also in the middle of a process more real and more impactful. And let me tell you something, there's something bold about Abbey Reggae, and I love it. You understand? I haven't met the government properly yet. I don't know enough about the country yet. But there's some wise minds in operation right now. And I give thanks and praises to be here. Because the country has welcomed us. Then now we come home and we bring in something. And we're carrying away something too. Give thanks.
And you know what is nice about it too is that if you actually know, so them come to Jamaica and say them are going to do something. Them say them are going to keep a festival 2 years time. It was 2 years ago. And then them say before the festival, them are going to set up a radio station and them are going to call it. Me sit down in a Pegasus with them attack, And them say, them are going to set up a radio station before the festival and call it Zion Radio. And if you come and see with them on Zion Radio.
Sound kind of fanciful, isn't it?
Oh,
2 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, and 2 years run out quick too, 2 years run out quick because I say, but wait. When we get the call, say, the brethren them say they would have liked me take part in the festival. And I said, but that was 2 years ago. We are here this thing and 2 years come like, it just goes so. Some of our next festival in a Gambia every 2 years. And next year is the next, last year we did it in a Gambia there, and them have reggae and them have different things where them carry go a certain place and see the different culture of Gambia and them things there. So something that happen. Now we can't go on like say it not happen. Something that happen. It might look kind of dreary sometime and dumb sometime, but we're not going to make that stop way.
No.
We're not going to make that stop way.
No.
This is the Steppn Razor, the art of war, all the way from the Virgin Islands. This is called Desiree.
Desiree, bigging her up on Friday.
You cannot love every day. You're working hard to get paid, oh yeah. You got a awesome family, and you do all that you can for them. There's nothing wrong with giving things.
Anytime you come on here, anytime you come, you have to go through Europe for reach out.
No.
Oh, because so them have the air flight that get cheaper if you go through Europe.
Yeah, yes, but I'm not interested in cheapness if I have to go through Europe.
I said, oh, you reach that.
I come straight down on our airline, Ethiopian.
Ethiopian airline come
Yeah, we make one stop in Cotonou.
I never know say Ethiopian airline come here. So.
Well, I never know neither, but I know now.
You're nice, really, you're nice. So, I like a quick dance. I like how you quick.
Remembering to get your way. The arms and Lamborghini. Before you love your house and car, you better love Jah. You better love Jah. Jah Jesus. Please love yourself. Before you love anyone, Jah Jesus. Please love yourself.
Yeah, it is 11 minutes past 10 o'clock. in Cote d'Ivoire, and it is 11 minutes past 5 o'clock in Jamaica. It's well dark out there, you know, say when we left us out, a stage show we gone, we watch some African perform.
Leading the people astray. Self-unity is necessary, but some know who everyone else is and don't know themselves. They don't know themselves. Jah Jesus.
You know, so we know some words in the French, and for those of you listening in Jamaica, you might not know where these ones are going to say it now, but we want to pay respect to them because them open the doors of the radio station for the past 2 days or so now to do this broadcast. So I want you to say something to the people in Jamaica. And we know they can't talk English, so don't try to talk English. Talk French.
Madame, mesdemoiselles et messieurs, encore une fois, on est très content de vous avoir. Alors, il fallait le savoir, Mutabaruka, justement, avec cette grande dame qui est donc avec nous, il a eu le temps de recevoir à l'instant le groupe Dvoire. Et puis, il faut savoir que monsieur Dvoire Thompson est bel et bien là avec l'une des femmes qui l'accompagne. Et ce soir, c'est un partage. Vous avez eu l'occasion justement de les écouter depuis 19h. C'est juste un moment pour eux de vous faire comprendre qu'en Jamaïque, il y a une chaîne de radio qui fait carton qu'on appelle iRay. Et sur cette chaîne, vous avez M. Mutabaruka qui fait une grosse émission qui est bel et bien écoutée. Alors, à l'heure actuelle, toute cette émission que vous avez eu le temps d'écouter est en direct. En Jamaïque, on nous écoute. On va faire un gros coucou à tous les Jamaïcains qui nous écoutent. Et puis, on va dire Peace and Love, Rasta.
Oh, I know, say this is the brethren. This is a disc job for Zion FM. Where is it today? What's the wrong guy? No, we can't leave her out of the mix, you know, because if it wasn't she, I know we'd all look for a piece of wire where the man them couldn't find. One little piece of wire, we all look for a couple of hours well, and the dirt that just going out dry to take out the wire. Now forget you.
Bonsoir à tous, c'est Peace and Love, c'est la Côte d'Ivoire qui vous salue. Content d'être avec vous. Merci encore d'être présent, Mutabaruka et cette grande dame. Et puis voilà quoi, bonsoir.
Bonsoir. All right. So, on a got the concert? You got the concert? The concert. You're going to the concert tonight? Okay. So, the radio station, they're on auto. You play the music without being here, right? Okay. We want to say give thanks, you know. Give thanks to the moment. Give thanks to the time. Give thanks to the energy. Anything else?
Well, if you're in Cote d'Ivoire, if you're in Abidjan, come out tomorrow in the day, come out again tomorrow in the night.
You don't believe you. Me, I look by your face and it does not glow. You know, it does not glow. I mean, I know you a long time, but a long time I don't see you.
Yeah.
Long time I don't see you.
Okay.
I'm Virgin Island. Virgin Island, we did it.
And no, last time is Virgin Island. 2 years, no, Virgin Island.
Virgin Island.
Yeah.
From them time there, me not see you. I mean, I tell you, you glow.
Thanks, Brother Muta.
Ethiopia, I make you glow. Believe you.
Well, it maybe it's Cote d'Ivoire make me glow, because them don't tell me how much me I glow in Ethiopia. Zion!
We love that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, listen, anybody who hear Third World already, I don't have to invite them because they will come again. But if you've never heard Third World, you have to come out tomorrow night. And in the day is all kind of things about the roots of the music and where it come from and all the rest of it. In the night is the performance, and again on Friday night. Yeah. So
I want the people in Jamaica to say it's not too late for reach the concert Friday. Because we have performed Saturday, and Morgan Heritage have performed Sunday. And Kimani Malia perform when? Friday. Kimani Malia perform Friday. Me and Judy Mott and Master Groups perform Saturday, and Morgan Heritage perform Sunday. For those of you in Jamaica who want to come, trust me, Delta take you to Atlanta. Atlanta take you to either Ghana or Paris, and Paris take you straight to Cote d'Ivoire. And we give thanks to the moment, give thanks to the time, give thanks to the energy. And, you know, saying at this time, that through the program, I go run out just now. A music style, we have to create a little music vibe, that's all. Here goes.
Long
came. Oh, there was love and unity amongst each other. Brothers and sisters always help and care for one another. Before old pirates came, before old pirates came, that boy, I and I always tried with the king of creation. There was no need for Babylon wizard and meditation. First university, oh yeah.
So we have to tell you, say, we will be back on the cutting edge Wednesday from 10 to 2 Wednesday.
Their modern improvements are but the duplicate of a grand civilization that I and I reflected thousands of years ago in creation. Before old pirates came, before old pirates came, hey.
Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
She'll perform on, what we call it, Saturday with Barnes with it. To the more.
Baby mother, things will be better tomorrow. Hush, baby mother, things will be better tomorrow. Hush, baby mother, things will be better tomorrow. Hush, baby mother.
sweet me for say Judy Mott in Africa. Believe you me, it sweet me, really. So as we say, Marsha Griffiths, Judy Mott. We can't play Judy Mott and don't play Marsha. We're gonna go play the Marsha Griffiths. With a little time when we have leave. We want to give thanks to the moment and the time and the energy. It has been wonderful last night and tonight. It has been wonderful. I give thanks to RFM for accommodating this broadcast right over here in Africa. Yeah? I want to give thanks to the people in the studio. In RFM, as usual, Samantha, who are big up Shane Clark, and we say Roger as far as inside there, a tell time and a mark time.
Some of them I try, some of them I try to take my place. But I wonder why they bother to try when they're all too late. 'Cause I'm a peaceful woman, I don't believe in doing wrong. Yes, I'm a peaceful woman, I don't believe in doing wrong. Tell me why do they always try to
Maria Band, thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Big hit from Marsha Griffiths. Big hit from Marsha Griffiths. People them say in Jamaica, don't make nobody fool you, man. Africa is a wonderful place. Yeah, man. 50 are different countries. If you don't like one, you can't go to the next one. If you don't like the other one, you can't go to the next one. Africa is a wonderful place. Always hear them try to make you turn your mind and your brains with whole heap of disease and war and this and that. Africa is a wonderful place. And 60 are Jamaican, they have to tell you that. Why the Rastafari community in Cote Dvoire right as I know? Yes, all the Rasta brethren they will meet yesterday. We come check me in the lobby. All the Rastafari brethren will meet today. When we go to the conference, we want to heal them up. Yes.
It is
Cote, we just give a little taste of what you expect in the course of 4 days right here in Abidjan. We just give a little taste. These artists that you're listening to is right here in your city, all the way from Jamaica. Morgan Heritage coming through Sunday night.
In my soul, yeah. Now all the nations to be free birds, singing a song convincing me it was so. On my way, anyone come to see me just say, tell them I'll be gone for the day. I'll be down by the river. Waiting for the good Lord to pass my way. Oh yeah, I'll be down by the river, singing songs of joy on this Saturday. Oh yeah.
We just bring a photo and CD. Now the brother who, let's get to the man.
I've heard about these tales long time ago, but never have the faith to believe in my soul. Yeah. Now Mother Nature sent me 3 little birds singing a song, saying it was so. Now I'm on my way. Anyone come to see me this day, tell them I'll be gone for the day. I'll be down by the river, waiting for the good Lord to pass my way. Oh yeah, I'll be down by the river, singing songs of joy on this Saturday. My, God, oh God. We came to earth and found ourselves in the West. Each day of our life, we seek that life which is the best. And as we lift our eyes to the east, we see that land flowing with milk and honey. Big ship is sailing home. So come along, come along, come along. Brothers and sisters going home. We are aware and prepared now that time is here. So Africa, here we come. We're traveling to our father's land. Africa, here we come. We're traveling to the promised land. Everyone know Africa, here we come. We're traveling to our father's land. Africa, here we come.
Everyone said, Ivory Coast, give thanks to really facilitate this broadcast here, and we hope we can do it again and again and again and again and again. IRFM give thanks. You know, we're here again until next week. We're gone, you know. Gone. Straight up.
life which is the best. And as we lift our eyes to the east, we see that land flowing with milk and honey. Big ship is sailing home. So come along, come along, come along. Brothers and sisters going home. We are aware and prepared now that time is here. So Africa, here we come. We're trotting to our father's land. Africa, here we come. We're trotting to the promised land. Everyone know Africa, here we come. We're trotting to our father's land. Africa, here we come. We're trotting to the promised land. We are the rightful owners. We're gonna trot music like a soldier. We're crossing all different borders, arriving at our final destination, Ethiopia. Home of the civilization. We're tired of all this persecution. Welcome us home with love and grace. Oh, Mama Africa, we see that smile on your face. Africa, here we come. We're trotting to our mother's land.
Irie FM, I the lick that.
Good afternoon, it's Thursday, April 9. I am Cherie Hay.
And I'm Cheryl Johnson.
From IRFM's News Center, here are the headlines.
U.S. President says his government's policy on ganja will not change in the near future.
Normality returning to sections of the corporate area where a number of traffic changes were implemented to facilitate the visit of the U.S. President.
Scores of irate citizens complained bitterly at their inability to view U.S. President Barack Obama.
And St. Thomas Health Department appeals to operators of food establishments to display permits. Now the details. United States President Barack Obama says U.S. government policy on ganja will not change in the near future, and that the view that ganja can become an industry to help end poverty in the Caribbean may be a fallacy. He says it is no silver bullet. The U.S. President was responding to a question from one of the young leaders at his town hall meeting this afternoon at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Sasha Gay Laban reports.
Mr. Obama stressed that the U.S. was reforming its justice system, also in recognition of the fact that it was counterproductive to criminalize many youth and lock them up for nonviolent drug offenses. He said that had helped to devastate many communities. The U.S. President also acknowledged that two states, Washington and Colorado, had made moves towards decriminalization and legalization of marijuana, but he said these were experiments that would be assessed. However, he said the U.S. federal policy would not change anytime soon, and he did not see Congress changing the law nationally. The U.S. President took the question posed directly by Miguel Williams, also called Steppn.
Has to do and surrounds U.S. policy as it regards the legalization, the decriminalization of marijuana.
How did I anticipate this?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
How did I guess this question?
Yes, and Mr. President, it really comes on the foreground of we face economic challenges with the IMF, etc. And we find realistically that the hemp industry, the marijuana industry, provides a highly feasible alternative to rise up out of poverty. So I am wanting to understand and to understand how U.S. is visioning, how would you see Jamaica pushing forward on a decriminalization, legalization emphasis on the hemp industry?
Miguel Steppn Williams. In response, Mr. Obama said there were several issues to consider, and he outlined what the concerns were in the United States regarding legalization and decriminalization.
There is the issue of legalization of marijuana, and then there is the issue of decriminalizing or dealing with the incarceration and, in some cases, devastation of communities as a consequence of nonviolent drug offenses. I am a very strong believer that the path that we have taken in the United States in the so-called war on drugs has been so heavy in emphasizing incarceration that it has been counterproductive. You have young people who did not engage in violence, who get very long penalties get placed in prison. And what we're trying to do is to reform our criminal justice system.
The U.S. president then spoke directly to the view that legalizing or decriminalizing marijuana would provide economic benefits for poor economies and the problems of that view.
There's then the second issue of legalizing marijuana, whether it's medical marijuana or recreational use. There are 2 states in the United States that have embarked on an experiment to decriminalize or legalize marijuana, Colorado and Washington State. And we will see how that experiment works its way through the process. Right now, that is not federal policy, and I do not foresee anytime soon Congress changing the law at a national basis.
U.S. President Barack Obama. He went on to say that in discussion with Caribbean leaders, the question of U.S. international policy with regard to drugs had been raised. He did not rule out some change, stating that there had to be a conversation about it to see if a smarter approach could be taken. Reporting for RFM News, I'm Sasha Gail Laban.
Young people from across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean welcomed U.S. President Barack Obama and the $70 million investment he announced today during a town hall meeting at the University of the West Indies. IRFM's Natalie Campbell was there and filed this report.
U.S. President Barack Obama today announced a nearly $70 million investment for initiatives related to education, training, and employment for young people. He said the investments will help the young to gain skills to compete in the economy. Mr. Obama was addressing a large gathering of young people at the Assembly Hall of the University of the West Indies. Prior to his arrival, the young, all specially invited guests waited in anticipation of this momentous occasion to hear from the first black president of the U.S., who many said had inspired them. The long lines and the hours of waiting did not break their spirits as they queued to hear Mr. Obama. After clearing security checkpoints, the guests sat in the assembly hall while others mixed and mingled, taking pictures with local celebrities and friends. When Mr. Obama arrived, it was to a thunderous applause, and he got cheers for trying to imitate the Jamaican accent, with greetings massive and Wagwan Jamaica. Getting into his speech, he spoke about the young people and what they represent for the future, announcing the investment plan.
And I want you to have every chance, every tool you need to make this world better. So, today I'm announcing nearly $70 million in U.S. investments in education, training, and employment programs for our young people throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. And these investments will help young people in unemployed, and impoverished, and marginalized communities, give them a chance to gain the skills they need to compete and succeed in the 21st century economy. And that's not all. As president, some of the initiatives I'm most proud of are ones that increase my country's engagement with the next generation.
Mr. Obama also announced a Young Leadership of the Americas initiative. Reporting from Kingston for IRFM News, I am Natalie Campbell.
And U.S. President Barack Obama, in public statements today, repeated that areas considered for partnership or assistance between the U.S. and the Caribbean, including Jamaica, comprise security, climate change, and energy. The first direct statements from the U.S. President came after bilateral talks this morning with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. Mr. Obama described those talks as excellent. He said the U.S. was seeking to be a more constructive partner with Jamaica and the Caribbean. Later, at a town hall meeting with the youth leaders, he again mentioned partnership, saying the U.S. and the Caribbean were partners and neighbors, and that he was working to improve prosperity and security for the region. The U.S. President said the talks this morning focused on clean energy and the costs faced by CARICOM nations, climate change, trade between the Caribbean and the U.S., security cooperation, and youth. The two sides had decided on the issues prior to this morning's meeting that was followed by a brief press conference. The U.S. President also spoke about security cooperation between the U.S. and the Caribbean. He said the transnational drugs trade was straining the security systems in Jamaica and the region, and the talks with the Prime Minister spoke the possibilities of security support for the nations of the region.
You know, Jamaica historically has had a very capable security effort, but strains are being placed on Jamaica, just like is true across the Caribbean, as the transnational drug trade continues to make moves to try to expand its reach or where it feels displaced from other areas. And so strengthening our cooperation, making sure that training, equipment, coordination, intelligence, that we are in sync, I think is going to be very important, and I look forward to our efforts there as well.
U.S. President Barack Obama. The statements by the U.S. President and one by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller were followed by two questions from the media.
In the meantime, the U.S. President spoke glowingly about Jamaican reggae icon Bob Marley and his unannounced visit to the Marley Museum in Kingston last evening. The museum was the first place in Jamaica that the President visited after his welcome at the Norman Manley International Airport, from where he was taken by helicopter to Up Park Camp. Mr. Obama, clad casually, went on a tour of the museum just before 9 o'clock, with only one member of the U.S. press corps allowed inside with him. This morning, following his meeting with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, Mr. Obama said the visit to Marley's home was one of the most fun things he had done since becoming president more than 6 years ago. He repeated that he had been an admirer of Marley's music since he was in high school.
Quick trip that I made last night to Bob Marley's house was one of the more fun meetings that I've had since I've been president, as a big fan since I was in high school, and is indicative of the incredible spirit of the Jamaican people. So thank you very much.
United States President Barack Obama. Later at the meeting with young leaders from around the world, he again mentioned his visit, saying, knowing that he was 5 minutes away, he had to visit Marley's home. And he also commented on the shooting of Marley at the Peace Concert in 1980 and paraphrased Marley's comments about why he went ahead with his performance, although he had been shot.
And Natasha Green, the now famous tour guide at the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston, says guiding the U.S. President through the museum yesterday was a fun experience. Barack Obama made a stop at the museum last evening, shortly after he arrived in the island. The U.S. President has already indicated that his stop at the museum was one of the highlight events of his presidency. Speaking with IRFM's Elise Kelly on the Easy Skanking show this afternoon, Mrs. Green Clark said she only had about an hour's notice that she was the one selected to be the president's tour guide. She said all the museum staff members were briefed yesterday afternoon that it was a possibility that they would be getting some late visitors. Mrs. Green Clark said her impression of the U.S. President was that he's a down-to-earth, humble man who addressed her by name when conversing with her. She described the experience as surreal.
I guess he was brief about my name because he addressed me directly, "Hi, Natasha."
Nice.
And he greeted me and he hugged me and we did a photo op.
Wow.
It was, yes, it was good, surreal. I wasn't nervous, I was more like happy. No, I wasn't nervous at all. I've been doing this job for a long time. And, I don't really change anything in that sense. It's just that he's the president, so I gave a tour that I would have given to anyone who paid to come into the museum.
Mrs. Green Clark said she knew that the president was excited about his tour of the museum based on his reaction upon entering the facility.
When he got out of his car, the first thing he said is that, yes, this is it, Bob Marley. So from that alone, I just imagined, and he was singing and dancing right throughout the tour. He said his favorite song, Exodus. And then when we went to the shot room during the tour where Bob got shot in 76, he was very, mesmerized by that. And the song Ambush in the Night was playing, and he was nodding and, like he was confirming and saying, yes, that's a man who, has a vision, inspiration.
Natasha Green Clark, tour guide at the Bob Marley Museum.
Meantime, yesterday's tour of the Bob Marley Museum by the U.S. President has caught the attention of regional and international media, while some online media are reporting on the energy agreement reached between the U.S. and Jamaica, as well as the possible removal of Cuba from the terrorism list. The most discussed and circulated activity of the President on his one-day visit to Jamaica was his stop at Bob Marley's Kingston home. Patrice Walters reports.
According to reports on BBC, Mr. Obama's first stop after landing in Kingston was the old Victorian-style house in central Kingston that Marley called home between 1975 and his death in 1981. To the strains of the late reggae star's One Love song, Mr. Obama was shown around the sprawling house in Kingston that was Marley's final home. The U.S. President said he was a fan of the musician, telling his museum guide Natasha Clark, "I still have all the albums." Mr. Obama spent 20 minutes in the museum, which now houses artifacts from the singer's life, including gold records and his Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And reports on USA Today say when President Obama visited Jamaica, he paid homage to one of the country's leading exports, Bob Marley. Obama is reported to have said that the quick trip made to Bob Marley's house was one of the more fun meetings that he has had since becoming president. Meanwhile, on social media, photos of President Obama being guided by Natasha Clark through the Bob Marley Museum drew several comments of praise and admiration. Bob Marley's widow, Rita Marley, tweeted her appreciation of the support shown by the U.S. president to her late husband's legacy. Some social media commentators noted the significance of Obama's tour of the museum, describing it as epic, and called for Bob to be declared a national hero. Reporting for IRFM News, I'm Patrice Walters.
And the President of the United States says he hopes to deepen partnership with Cuba over the next year, similar to that of Jamaica. Barack Obama states that the process is an ongoing one, but says progress has been made since restoring diplomatic ties with Cuba in December.
In terms of the overall process of establishing diplomatic relations with Cuba, I think that they are proceeding as I expected. I never foresaw that immediately overnight everything would transform itself, that suddenly Cuba became a partner diplomatically with us the way Jamaica is, for example. That's going to take some time. I do think that we'll be in a position to move forward on the opening of embassies in respective countries. And so my expectation is that during the course of this year and into next year, you'll see a series of steps and measures that are taken to build trust and to establish genuine dialogue.
Mr. Obama says there are still challenges based on U.S.-Cuba differences, but the process being engaged will be beneficial for Cubans and people within the wider Caribbean region.
There will still be significant differences given their system of government, given their positions on some of the issues in the region. But we're confident that this process of engagement will ultimately lead to not just improved relations between the United States and Cuba, but will also end up being beneficial for the Cuban people and give them the kinds of opportunities that they might not have in the past. There was an interesting poll that was released just over the last several days showing overwhelming support within Cuba for this process.
U.S. President Barack Obama responding to questions at a press briefing at Jamaica House this morning.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller says deepened relations with Cuba and Jamaica's benefit were among issues discussed with U.S. President Barack Obama in meetings this morning. At a press briefing at Jamaica House, Mrs. Simpson Miller thanked the President for restoring diplomatic ties with Cuba.
Our areas of our deliberations centered on regional and hemispheric developments, including relations with our closest neighbor Cuba and our expectations for the Summit of the Americas. And here again, I want to thank the President of the United States for action taken in terms of Cuba, and to say to you, Mr. President, you are on the right side of history.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller.
And CARICOM heads of government who traveled to Jamaica to engage in the CARICOM U.S. Summit say there are hopes to increase development opportunities to improve the future of young people in the region. Speaking at a meeting for Caribbean heads today, Chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Per Christie, says one of the goals of the meeting with the U.S. President was to create a better future for young people in the region.
Our mission is as great an opportunity as we can have in our time to review the important issues of our time. At the core of the mission is that of the development of our people, to make their lives better, free from crime and violence, with incomes that support a good living for themselves and their families, and to ensure a bright future for our young people.
He says increased job, educational and economic opportunities are top priorities coming out of the CARICOM U.S. Summit.
They are the future of this region. I speak on behalf of us all when I say there is no more compelling a mission than we have today than to help secure their future, to dispel their sense of hopelessness, to fix the joblessness, to ensure that they get a good education, to help them become a part of the formal economies of our countries. If this meeting produces anything today, it must be to ensure the future of our young people.
Chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Perry Christie.
Scores of irate citizens complained at their inability to view U.S. President Barack Obama. The citizens who lined the barricades surrounding Heroes Park stated that they came in hopes of seeing the first black U.S. president. Gillian Pearson was there.
They stood poised with devices such as mobile phones, computer tablets, and digital cameras. However, their excitement quickly turned to anger when they realized that Mr. Obama had come and gone without even passing their way. Many complained that there had been no purpose in bulldozing the crab vendors and repaving the roads, as he did not even drive that way. Those gathered, including residents and corporate employees, all complained that they felt as though they were being treated like criminals because of how far the barricades were from the memorial site where Mr. Obama laid a wreath.
Jamaican people, we are not suicide bomber, we are not criminal. Why we have to see us so far to see Obama? We could have more, even them more to in the Euro circle for see him and so and thing. When him die Kenya, people see him. When him die different country, people see him and can get for talk to. We have somebody pick the same way to you now, we don't love to see him. And so like how Portia see him. We don't recognize as a people. We don't recognize as a nation. President come here. President come here to our country, we can't ever see him. We have to see him on TV, we not think that fear.
I would want to see the president or see the motorcade, but I guess we don't have that privilege.
Irate citizen around Heroes Circle. Other people complained about not being able to access their homes in Almond Town across from the park. They say the taxis are unable to drop them any closer, and they are not being told when they can cross the area to their homes. It was less than 10 minutes from the president's arrival at Heroes Park to lay the wreath on the cenotaph and depart the park. Reporting for RFM News, I am Gillian Pearson.
We now bring you Our Caribbean, some of the stories making the headlines from across the region.
Murders in the Bahamas has increased by 32% between January 1 and April 8 compared to the same period in 2014. So far, there have been 41 murders for the year. That's compared to the 31 murders recorded this same time last year. According to the Nassau Guardian, a closer look at this year's murders show that 11 people were murdered in January, 13 in February, and 11 in March. There have been 6 murders so far in April. The latest murders took place on Tuesday when 3 men were killed in separate incidents. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissesa, says she is very concerned of the threat of terrorism, not only for her country, but for the entire Caribbean region. Speaking ahead of Thursday's meeting of CARICOM leaders with U.S. President Barack Obama, the Prime Minister said Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica both co-sponsored the United Nations resolution last September in New York to deal with threats in the Middle East. Guyana's President Donald Ramotar told Alexander Village residents he does not want to be president if he cannot do things to uplift the welfare of his people. Speaking to the very large crowd, he said over the last 3 years, the opposition had stifled development in the country. According to the Guyana Chronicle, Mr. Ramotar said that opposition set out to deliberately damage Guyana as some $89 billion was cut from the budget in very important areas that were allocated to be spent to improve the welfare of the people. Finally, in our Caribbean, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, says enrollment at the campus has taken a steep decline, especially when compared to the incredible growth of the student population at the Mona and St. Augustine campuses. He said the enrollment of the educational institution is reminiscent of how it was 20 years ago. Sir Hilary said while enrollment in Cave Hill of primarily Barbadian students has seen a collapse from 9 to 5,000, the Mona campus has grown from 12 to 17,000. In the same period, the St. Augustine campus has grown from 14 to 20,000. He questioned the implications of the decline for the island. According to the Barbados Advocate, he was delivering the opening remarks at the 2015 Student Award ceremony under the theme, Saluting Excellence, Soaring Beyond Expectations. For Our Caribbean, I'm Primrose Oliver.